put
Of
out.
the influencer.
I'm sorry, what? Okay, well listen,
Nothing. I'll be
that
quiet.
nobody has said that she wants to be anything. She's not titling herself an
Keep making content.
person that was a friend of hers a week ago. And the only reason that she's coming out with all this hate and anger and animosity is because Gypsy had to cut her off because she is an active heroin user, therefore committing felonious behavior. Therefore, Gypsy cannot associate with her by her parole. She cannot talk to felons,
Hold on,
and she cannot
Ken.
talk to anybody
Now
who
that's
commits
not fair.
We don't know
felonious
that.
behavior.
Wait, hold on, Ken, because she.
And why didn't you jump on
anyway,
when
though,
she
right?
was up here?
Regardless of her
Hold
I was
on.
here, but I didn't get on. I don't know.
But Ken, she accused Gypsy of being a Suboxone Subutex user.
Yeah, and it's
What
a
do you say
complete,
there?
absolute lie. I mean,
I tried Suboxone and it gave me the same high as taking pain pills.
So you're telling me you've never been threatened?
Well, once by a stranger at Walmart.
Okay, I'm talking more recently.
And that's when I grabbed the gun and I threatened her with it. And before I knew it, I pulled the trigger as many times as I could. Shot my mother. I just remember thinking like, oh my God, did I just do that? What did I just do? A couple of them hit her, a couple of them hit the wall, but the wounds were superficial. It barely grazed her. That's when I realized it was a BB gun. And it made me feel relieved because I did not intend to kill her.
When Dee Dee did go in and get medical care, the records show that she lied about it.
She told people that me and her were robbed in the parking lot of Walmart by this mystery robber that shot her with the BB gun.
Cross a reel, and I think y'all would be really, really interested to find out what was on that reel.
Oh, tell us, Ryan, please.
I want y'all to take a look at the dates on this. Pull it out. Feeling a lot better. I have the best little nurse, Gypsy. You know, remember from the BB incident? Take a look at that date. June 14th, 2011. June 14th, 2015. Girl! You got a problem with that date, don't you? June's a tricky month for you, ain't it?
So to unpack this a little further, we had a few things that were in our discovery file and things that were related to Dee Dee, and one of them happens to be the incident report. Now, there's more to it than this, but I'm going to show you what it says. So this is basically just showing you that it's hers. Let me grab one more thing for you. And here we are. The chief complaint and onset symptoms is from a BB gun, and it was an incident in a Walmart parking lot, according to this here, I believe.
So I was tagged in Fancy's video, and I used a piece of it because it kind of goes along with the video that I made in the documentary, and pieced them together, but in a fuller context with her video because she has that, so I'm going to definitely credit her. But like I commented, and I'm sure she probably already knows this information because she's very knowledgeable about the case and everything, but I know I seen it somewhere, so I looked up this again, and I know that Emma Petrie, which is Dee Dee's mother, Gypsy's grandmother, she actually passed away on June 9th of 1997. If I'm not mistaken, isn't that the date that Gypsy unalived Dee Dee in 2015? But that June 14th was actually when Emma's funeral was, when she was buried and all that. June 14th is also the day that Gypsy in 2015, when she makes that Facebook post because she's freaking out and having anxiety over they're not going to find her, they're not going to find her. And now we learned that, 2011, so it's 4 years prior, that she attempted to unalive her mom on the same date. Yeah, that's, Dee Dee probably did have a lot of grief around this time. Anybody that's lost a significant amount of people in their life, I'm only 38, I lost my dad 4 years ago, but I lost a really close friend in 2010. I've lost several cousins, 3 aunts technically, because both of my mom's sisters. We lost my mom's brother. My dad's sister also passed away. A lot of friends too. But certain dates can be very hard for people. So I would just assuming that Dee Dee probably had a rough time around this week, because that's when she lost her mom, and that's also when she would have had her mother's funeral. So I don't know if there's any more significance to that with the relationship between Dee Dee and Gypsy, but
I was fully aware that I could walk, but I always craved her affection, and I was afraid of losing it.
now I always thought that was really odd that she said that, and that really stuck in my mind for some reason, because if her mom was having her own personal grief and hard mental and emotional time during that week, during the remembrance of the loss of her mother, she probably wasn't giving her mental and emotional and physical affection and attention towards Gypsy. But I always thought that was really strange how she says, I was fully aware that and knew that I could walk. I was fully aware that I could walk. She doesn't allude to Dee Dee knowing. She alludes to just herself. It almost sounds like she was playing her mom. Like she was playing sick, and Dee Dee actually thought that maybe she did have some kind of muscle something going on, and actually thought she needed the wheelchair. And that Gypsy was playing her mom, because if she played sick, she got sympathy and attention and affection from her mom. And she apparently craved that. But during this week may have been when Dee Dee herself, through her own grief, maybe disconnected a lot from that. Of course, grief does that. What human that has lost somebody significant in their life hasn't had a hard week? Especially when the anniversary of somebody's death comes along. It happens. But I always thought that that was really strange the way she worded it, because she doesn't say, we both knew that I could fully walk. She just says, I was fully aware that I could walk. But I did all these things for her attention and affection because I was afraid of losing it. And another part of the documentary, she also talks about how Dee Dee would hold the cat and give attention and affection to the cat, and that made her jealous and felt like that her mom was snarling at her. And that's really weird, because you know that's a child that is very demanding of their mother, to give them everything as far as physical, mental, emotional, that if you see your mom even petting the cat, that you're getting jealous because you feel like that's something being taken from you, or that she's doing it intentionally to harm you. But that always really struck me as odd. And now that I have a fuller context of those dates, that the attempt before happened, kind of strange. I don't know. What do you think? Now, I am not alluding to anything, but I am going to put this piece of information out in the public so you can understand that there is a such thing as Munchausen without the proxy. This is where a child or adult feigns, fakes, exaggerates symptoms of being sick when they're not, for the same end goal: affection, attention, love, praise. So here you have it.
Do you think she got what she deserved?
According to yes. Yes.
Yeah, she got what she deserved.
And all the brothers and sisters don't care about Didi no more. Gypsy, she got cremated. She said, what you want me to do with the ashes? Everybody said, oh, I don't want her. I don't want her. I told her, flush that in the toilet.
Her sister said, flush that in the toilet.
She said, we're going to bring that in Mama's room, make her mask and everything. I said, you gonna pay for it? I'm not paying for it. You going to get that? They said, we can't afford it. I said, flush it in the toilet.
My mom was cremated, so she doesn't have a grave. That was my grandmother's grave that I visited. No, my mom's ashes are with, I don't have them. My aunt has them, so her sister has them.
The main reason why I am addressing this point right here is because this is the biggest thing that I see people commenting, making videos about, or even messaging me about when they want to defend Dee Dee being a horrible person. But her own family flushed her ashes down the toilet. Just because somebody said it on a documentary doesn't make it true. Just because you saw it on Lifetime or HBO or Amazon, Hulu, Netflix, does not mean that the people speaking in the documentary are not heavily incentivized and motivated to lie or an exaggeration for the subject, the person, the topic of that documentary, especially when they're paid to do exactly that. If you didn't listen very closely to what Gypsy's grandfather says, he is asked if he believes that Dee Dee just got what she deserved. He doesn't say he believes that so-and-so, according to them. And he goes on to talk about having to come up with the money to cremate Dee Dee's body after she's unalived, and that her sister was making jokes about, I ain't got the money, flush her down the toilet. He didn't say that's what they did. He said that was what they were joking about. And of course, most people don't have the money saved or the money right off of hand to just go pay $1,000 to $3,000 for a cremation, depending on where you're at and what it costs where you live, let alone a burial, which can be upwards of $15,000 to do such. So they have a private family moment and they make that joke because they don't have the money to come up with the cremation. That's not true. Gypsy herself, even though her word doesn't account for much, but in this situation, she actually is telling the truth because Dee Dee's own sister has said the same thing, that Dee Dee's ashes are with her. And that is that. You can't take a one-sided documentary as written in stone, as the absolute objective truth, because they're anything but that. Anything but that. You have to take it with a grain of salt. And remember that they pick and choose who that they're going to talk to and who is going to be in the documentary based on what they're going to say and if they're going to back up Gypsy's claims. But you still are only seeing hearsay on that. You have to remember that. You are hearing people just say hearsay. Most of them are not even saying what they personally witnessed or saw because they didn't. They can't. Especially people that were not in their life at all during the time that they lived in Missouri, including Gypsy's own dad. And he does not get a free pass for not being an active participant in his daughter's life when he had the equal responsibility as Dee Dee did for raising her and raising his children. He does not get a free pass for not being there, for working all the time to financially provide for them and to be ignorant of anything in her life for the first 24 years. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. But this whole comment, I'm going to put it to rest now, and I'm just going to let you all see for yourself that no, Dee Dee's family did not flush her ashes down the toilet. They paid for the cremation, and her sister has her ashes currently. Whether or not they were going to uphold her wishes and scatter her ashes with her mom, she wanted to be buried with her mom, they can't obviously do that. That's to be determined by her family and her sister and what she decides she's going to do with them or if she's going to keep them. And that's just that. She was not flushed down a toilet. In fact, they wouldn't cremate the body and give it to them just to flush it down the toilet. If somebody can't pay for a cremation and you don't have a payment plan worked out with the crematorium or the funeral home, usually what happens is that body legally becomes ward of the state. Here in Michigan, this is how it goes. That body becomes ward of the state. They have to cremate the body. They cannot let it sit there. They do cremate the body, but then they put the ashes and the state number and tag and everything on the box of ashes, and they put it on a shelf until somebody in ample time can pay them for the ashes. Otherwise, What they do with them, that's up to the discretion of the funeral home or the state. And that's that. They cared about her enough to pay for the cremation and to actually get her ashes. And Dee Dee's sister has them. So anybody that wants to comment that, I think you should come see this video and really rewatch it just to comprehend what was really being said there. And that's it. That's it. That's all I gotta say.
I'm always another gypsy. I'm always stealing from Gypsy's story. And I'm like, but I'm not. My story actually happened. Like, but her stuff unraveled when she, the unaliving of her mom in 2015. My leg was lost in 2010. Like, I had already knew what Munchausen by proxy syndrome was before her story was known by anybody.
So in other words,
about a year after my grandmother died, my grandfather got married to Laura Mae. Dee Dee was very upset about that happening. She felt like my grandmother was being replaced by this woman that she probably hated. So after Dee Dee got out of the hospital, her and Gypsy were staying at my grandfather's house. And one day, my grandfather and Gypsy were hanging out, and Gypsy sees the Roundup in the corner, and she tells my grandfather, "Oh, that's the vitamins that Mom gives to grandmother Laura Mae." And he's like, "What?"
Gypsy told me when I'd go working, Dee Dee would cook and put Roundup in Laura's food. Roundup kills grasses, but if you take enough, it'll kill you. It'll eat up all your stomach.
I know that my mother had this hatred towards Laura. So that is something that would be in her character to do. I remember a very heated argument. Laura was just like, "I don't want you here." And my mother's like, "Fine, we'll find another place to stay."
About a year after my grandmother died, my grandfather got married to Laura Mae. Dee Dee was very upset about that happening. She felt like my grandmother was being replaced by this woman that she probably hated. So after Dee Dee got out of the hospital, her and Gypsy were staying at my grandfather's house. And one day, my grandfather and Gypsy were hanging out, and Gypsy sees the Roundup in the corner, and she tells my grandfather, "Oh, that's the vitamins that Mom gives to grandmother Laura Mae." And he's like, "What?"
Gypsy told me when I'd go working, Dee Dee would cook and put Roundup in Laura's food. Roundup kills grasses, but if you take enough, it'll kill you. It'll eat up all your stomach.
I know that my mother had this hatred towards Laura. So that is something that would be in her character to do. I remember a very heated argument. Laura was just like, "I don't want you here." And my mother's like, "Fine, we'll find another place to stay."
I know. Okay, so because the comments are so limited, you can't actually say or explain anything like in the comments, but I'm just whatever. Block and get over it, because people that are so far off the mark that they don't actually understand. Yeah, I don't like Katie Joy Polson's content, and I don't like how she conducts herself. I don't follow her, and that's fine. That's my prerogative. I'm a content creator. I have been for a long time. I also used to follow Katie Joy Polson for more than 2 years. That has nothing to do with my reply on my own TikTok to this person who was saying something about abusing. And she wasn't talking to just my comment. She was talking to 2 other people and their comment. And they were going back and forth about her. And so I said, well, she ended up deleting all her stuff because she said, well, you don't even know if she's on Adderall and Trazodone. And I said, in my own response on my own page, within my legal right, that, yes, you do know that because Katie Joy Polson herself says that. Hence why I used the video. And she goes on to delete that whole thread, but there was 2 other people that were saying, yes, you can abuse trazodone. You can abuse anything. And I agreed with that. I said, yes, you can abuse anything. Anybody can abuse anything. That was besides the point. She's not talking to me. I didn't accuse Katie Joy Polson of abusing anything. We do know she drinks on live because we've seen her do it many times over the last several years. But this whole thing here, using this video, I use this video because I had to use this clip. This is where she specifically says that she is on, that she takes Adderall, that she takes trazodone. I didn't say either which way my own opinion about whether or not, that it's bad to take your medications as they're prescribed to you. I didn't say anything of such. So somebody is so misunderstanding that. I don't have to subscribe to everything everybody else said, even whoever's voice it was that was in the video. I only used it because I needed that one little piece to say that, yeah, she does take Adderall, yeah, she does take trazodone, and yeah, she does drink on camera too, which is her prerogative. That's fine. And yeah, this is a whole other topic. Katie Joy Polson makes 2 statements verbatim for people that don't listen and don't comprehend. She says, I have a personal relationship with the entire Blanchard family. No, she did not. She also goes on and says in that same clip that is recorded, she also says that I know each of the Blanchards personally. I know Rob. Rob is short for Robert. His name is Rod. If you knew somebody for 5 years, you would certainly know that their name is Rod for Rodney, not Rob for Robert, or also Ron. She's called him Ron before, which is short for Ronald. She says, I have had a personal relationship with Rob, with Christy, with Gypsy, well, all of them except for Ken, because I haven't had the chance to talk to him yet. I'm sorry, that's not true and not true. Just because you messaged somebody a few times or had even a phone call with them does not mean that you have a private, personal relationship with them. Those 2 statements are not true. And if you're going to cite Christy Blanchard as being a source for being honest, I don't know, but I would check that that's not, no, you probably shouldn't trust Christy Blanchard as an honorable source, considering that she likes to stir up drama between creators, and she does everything she can to negate blame and deflect away from her and her family. And I don't like Katie Joy Polson personally. I don't follow her anymore. And that's it. But this is my page, and you're not going to come here and tell me that I'm being any kind of one way. Somebody that has gotten away with committing felony crimes more than one time, and Gypsy Rose Blanchard, who actually did a crime and got caught and then paid her dues for it, even though I don't even agree with Gypsy. Yeah, to me, they're one and the same. They're literally threads cut from the same exact cloth. So I don't support this. I don't support her. I did not say anything about her abusing medication. I did not say anything about the medication she's on. So you completely misunderstood the whole thing. But yeah, I'm allowed to put up whatever the fuck I want on my own TikTok, and I'm allowed to say whatever the fuck I want on my own TikTok. I ain't breaking the law. I'm within my legal rights. I'm within the law. I'm not doing anything wrong. And I sure as hell can use a video clip whenever the fuck I want on my own page to respond to whoever the fuck I want. That's how it works. But for next time, you might want to make sure you actually understand, because you're responding back to me like I'm the person talking in this video, and I'm not. And I tell you that.
You know, it's funny. Like, Katie Joy, spilled a bunch of tea. And I don't like that lady. But she's one of Christie's minions for the longest. And she spilled some tea, and she got mad because Gypsy didn't want to have anything to do with her, obviously. So now she's flipped. It's funny how
Holly has the exclusive, joining us live from East Point Police Department with more on what exactly happened, Ingrid.
Yeah, it's really disturbing. A mother takes away her daughter's cell phone, and then her child comes up with a plan to kill her mother. Back in July, East Point police were called to the 24,000 block of Roxana.
We're there to investigate a home invasion and possibly an attempted murder.
But as the investigation unraveled, something sinister was revealed about a 14-year-old girl living on this street.
The minor daughter had met another minor on a social media app.
But the 14-year-old's time on social media was put in jeopardy. Her mother, who had no knowledge of the guy her child met on the app, decided to take away her daughter's phone as a form of punishment.
Because she was having a lot of issues at home and not following the rules.
So the teen and her new 17-year-old boyfriend came up with a solution.
They decided together that they were going to kill mom.
In the early morning hours of July 14th, the 14-year-old allegedly leaves the door to her home open so her boyfriend can enter.
He went into the mom's bedroom and began to attempt to suffocate her with a body pillow that was on the bed.
The mom screamed.
And then he started choking her.
But the woman's mother and grandmother to the 14-year-old intervened and told the 17-year-old to leave, which he did, but he left something behind.
His shoes were left behind, and we believe that maybe he took those off to be quieter.
A knife from the victim's house was also found in the street when the suspect fled. The mom was transported to the hospital, but will suffer injuries. And after nearly 2 months of investigating, police took the 14 and 17-year-olds into custody. The mother of the 14-year-old told police her daughter is a problem child and has a record. Both have been charged as adults by the Macomb County Prosecutor's Office. The biggest evidence came from the 14-year-old.
From social media, from her social media account.
The 17-year-old facing a number of charges, including conspiracy to commit murder and the first degree. The 14-year-old also facing charges, including solicitation of murder.
The male received a $2.5 million bond. So I can't imagine that he's going anywhere, anytime soon. And the female was given a $1 million bond. So they're both being held.
The names of the teens not being released because of their ages. The investigation has shocked the police department.
I don't know that we've ever seen anything on this level from this age group.
And as this investigation continues, police want to make this clear. Everything you do on social media leaves a footprint.
Nothing is secret. Everything is able to be recovered and found when you're using social media.
And although the mother survived, her blood vessels were greatly damaged because of that strangulation. Needless to say, these teens are facing a number of future court dates. Back to you.
My goodness, Ingrid, so young, 14 years old, and the other teen, 17. It is really scary to think about. And this mom, do we know if the teens had any trouble in the past before that, or was it something where one possibly may have influenced the other?
Yeah, definitely. We don't know about the boyfriend, but we do know that the 14-year-old, the mom considered a problem child and said that she actually does have a record.
Now I have to speak on this because East Point is literally a hop, skip, and jump right down the street from where I live. And this is considered to be the Metro Detroit area. So this is a community that is very, very, very close to mine. Teen couple plots to unalive girl's mom so they can have freedom, Michigan police say. But we also had this one in June of 2024. 15-year-old accused of harming mom in her sleep gave bizarre explanation about why she did it. A Mississippi teenager has been charged with the attempted unaliving and first-degree arson of allegedly harming her mom several times and trying to set the residence on fire. During the investigation, Brown allegedly told authorities she had planned to unalive her mother because the alleged victim was a weird bitch. We have this back in March of 2024. Teens' sinister plot to unalive their parents. 16-year-old boy unalived 17-year-old girlfriend's hardworking mother after their friend tried to harm her sleeping mom in bed. This is the case about Susan Bailey, a 43-year-old who was found unalived. Very similar circumstances to Dee Dee Blanchard. At the top of the stairs in a family home in Roanoke, Texas. It also says an upcoming true crime documentary is set to delve into a sinister plot of 4 teens who made a pact to unalive their parents with devastating results. I mean, when is it not devastating? We also had this case in October of 2023, teen fatally his mom, sleeping mom, in front of his newborn sister. A 13-year-old fatally his mom last week as she slept in their Florida apartment while the teen's 2-week-old sibling was in the same room. You can go ahead and pause to read that. So, the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case. Society, young teenagers, young adults, they're going to see somebody do what she did and thinks that they can do it too for freedom. Because she was a weird bitch. Because we wanted to. Because we didn't like her. Every excuse under the sun, except for their own accountability and responsibility for making a poor life decision to commit a felony crime. But this right here, the fact that we've seen so many cases already happen, and even one of them get picked up to have a documentary made about it, is already showing you what the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case is doing to society and young people. They think not only can they do this and get away with it, but they think that they're going to get the same accolades and the same money and the same attention and views and positive reinforcement for a negative behavior that Gypsy Rose Blanchard has gotten away with. Tell me I'm absolutely wrong about this, but we are not going to see this stop. We're going to see it continue, and we're going to see it even get worse with time.
You know, start advocating instead of it being all about you right now. And I'm sure I'm probably going to hurt your feelings, Gypsy. And that's okay. Because somebody needs to. Somebody needs to, because you do have such a beautiful heart. And again, I'm going to catch flack for saying that. But we all make mistakes. We all do stuff and we make mistakes. But I know your heart. And I just pray that you decide that you want to start making a difference.
That's a really nice sentiment. And you may think that you know somebody because you served time in the same prison as them. But that's clearly not the case. You don't know this person. You don't know her heart. And a lot of people say that same sentiment, that we all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. But just to let you know, unaliving somebody is not a mistake. That's not only a cardinal sin, that is the worst felony you could commit. So I definitely agree. Praying for somebody, if that's what you feel, is the best thing. But a lot of people have been praying for that person, and it hasn't changed a thing. And if her own actions, her own choices, her own words, and her own behaviors don't show you exactly what it is you need to know about her, then I'm going to be praying for you.
Oh, honey, I am so not threatened by you.
Gypsy Rose. Hey, y'all, look at the puppy Ken got us. We named him Vaughn. You're going to hell. You are going to hell. You wait, your baby's going to come out looking just like this, because that's how karma works. Talking about Katie Joy Polson's son, who was born with medical issues. And I don't even stand Katie Joy Polson. She's a whole fucked up in and of itself. But this, you can't fix this. Thank you to Supernatural Crime with Nikki for sharing this. But this person responds, you may actually be the most evil human alive. You fucking think? Duh.
And the next day we went to the grocery store, came back home. She went to sleep very, very late. And I was up texting Nick. We painted each other's nails. And I acted like everything was fine. We had just recently gotten into an argument, and we had made up. And I said I was going to be a good girl. And then when she went to sleep, I guess I hurt her feelings or something. And she said, I'm starting to feel more relaxed. Don't hurt me.
And that's when I grabbed the gun and I threatened her with it. And before I knew it, I pulled the trigger as many times as I could. She told people that me and her were robbed.
When Dee Dee did go in and get medical care, the records show that she lied about it.
We had just recently gotten into an argument, and we had made up. And I said I was going to be a good girl. And then when she went to sleep, I guess I hurt her feelings or something. And she said, I'm starting to feel more relaxed. Don't hurt me. I'm starting to feel more relaxed. Don't hurt me. On him, and she had ordered me to stay away from him. And needless to say, that was a very long argument that lasted a couple weeks.
An argument that lasted a couple of weeks. What does that look like?
Yelling, throwing things.
I have to clarify this because a lot of people are missing it. A lot of people are saying this for me. Gypsy has not personally bullied me. I mean, I do believe she's part of the reporting because she is stealing my content. That she has done, and I do have proof of that. But she is using Katie Joy and Bree to do it for her. And she does this very often. And Bree will even say, well, Gypsy told me this. Gypsy said the conversation. Gypsy told Bree about my exact messages I sent to her.
Who is this? So I know this Bree lady says Bree, right? She's doing some weird stuff on YouTube, and she's insignificant here. I don't know her following on TikTok, but is that where she's doing most of the talking smack?
Lives, and she will full on attack me. She makes up stuff. Today she made apparently a sympathetic video, I heard, but she kept saying that I didn't have proof, and also it was very insincere and not genuine, and she shared details of my story and she didn't even get them right. So that is my biggest problem. And hello, Starlight.
Hey, Kate.
But my bullying has definitely come from them, and Gypsy is communicating with them. And I have said this, and I will say it here in case Gypsy or anybody sees this. Gypsy knows how to personally contact me. When she contacted me in my comments and those back and forth comments we had just over a week ago, I asked her, why are you not private messaging me? She claimed that she couldn't. She knows my Instagram because she had Katie Joy reach out to me on it. She knows all of my everything. And instead of having her very toxic friends communicate with me and add more drama and toxicity to this, I don't understand why she does not have a one-on-one personal conversation with me.
Can I ask you why you decided to shut down your TikTok for some time and leave the internet due to the bullying and the harassment that you're receiving? I'm just curious as to what triggered you to do that. Was it
Katie Joy? So when Katie Joy watched Nina's live and took word for word and made a mockery of my story, and then also she made a mockery and she took the exact details and said, well, this is also Gypsy's story, when no one's ever heard those details of Gypsy's story. When she did that, and then she deleted all of her voice messages and then told me that she called Gypsy and told Gypsy about our messages, I felt that it was so intentional. I felt like she was trying to get information out of me to go back and tell Gypsy, and I just didn't want the drama anymore. I could not deal with it. I was busy with work. I was getting too consumed in it.
It's overwhelming.
I am struggling with the right words to find in this video, and I'm going to do my best by covering everything that I want to, but I'm also going to try to be careful with my words. I want to be honest, but there's just some things I don't want to go into too much detail right now because I'm not ready, I guess, but I will start with a few things. First, the reason I left TikTok is I shared my story on Nina's live, and I went into deep details of my story and the abuse that happened to me and my older sister. An hour after that live, a girl named Katie Joy, they refer to her as KJ, which is Gypsy's friend, had taken the exact details of my story and said that they were Gypsy's story. Basically saying, well, Gypsy went through that too. Those are actually Gypsy's details. And I was not okay. Like, when I tell you word for word, she took word for word of the details. I have yet to ever see those be Gypsy's details. This is Gypsy's friend. And she is a not so nice person. I will put it at that. You can do your own research. And there are some things that she said, and she actually isn't a very good friend because she exposed a Gypsy on a lot of things. And she even said in a post earlier that she exposed a lot of things and made it clear Gypsy had never had any plan for advocacy. I already figured that out very early on. I want to start by addressing some of the things that I was seeing before I even left. I never expected Gypsy to come out and be an advocate. I don't need her to speak for me or be an advocate. I am my own advocate and I raise my own awareness. However, she has a platform and stuff and could greatly help me make a lot of major changes for Munchausen or my proxy. And that's the end goal for me or anybody that's want advocacy or awareness, is to make changes that help all survivors. So I had reached out to Gypsy a couple of times. Well, Gypsy's known about me for a while. After Gypsy's release and after I had reached out to her, there was not back and forth messaging. No, she actually wanted nothing to do with survivors. But a lot of my videos started getting reported. And I do believe Gypsy had something to do with this because she would copy my exact advocacy videos and make them her own, but use them for advertisement for her TV shows and her books and everything. And she would take the exact words that I said and make it into her own videos. Like, one, I went way more in depth on the medical side, but she would took the exact same topics exact same and made her own videos. And as KJ said, it was probably using my video as inspiration. Well, she's like, she might have, but I know KJ knows that she took it from my video. This did not happen once. This happened multiple times.
Yeah. I'm always another Gypsy. I'm always stealing from Gypsy's story. And I'm like, but I'm not. My story actually happened. Like, but her stuff unraveled when she, the unaliving of her mom in 2015. My leg was lost in 2010. Like, I had already knew what Munchausen by proxy syndrome was before her story was known by anybody.
So in other words,
well, good morning. For anybody that cares, today is June 24th, the day that I lost my leg 14 years ago, and I wake up to Bree's video and live about me, incapable of speaking on me. So every video I've ever made has been nothing more than defending myself. That's it. I've never made a video first. I've never talked about first. I have defended myself every single time. And now I'm not even going to bother defending myself because it's just continuing this vicious cycle that won't end if I do. So that live was filled with a bunch of lies. She lied in that video that she made, claiming that I haven't been a topic. There is a ton of people that could tell you I have. She's got 2 accounts. She's made multiple videos about me. She has talked about me in her live. She talked about me in her live with Christy the other day. She just will not stop. She sees I'm back. I reactivated. And it's like, oh, well, I haven't said enough yet. I got to keep this going. Even though I'm like, I'm done. You guys win. I'm done. Like, y'all win. Like, I don't even get why we're continuing this anymore. So it's just really kind of annoying to wake up to that. But I'm also just gonna ask my followers, it's just better if I don't know. I get you guys are, why you're sending it to me, but just don't send me anything anymore. I don't even want to know. Just let her say whatever about me. I really have to stop caring. I know I care, but I need to stop caring because this is not good for my mental health. it wouldn't be good for anybody's mental health. This is very wrong, and it's a cycle that really needs to end.
So here it goes. Yes, me and Gypsy Rose are friends. Glad you guys found that out.
She could be boo-hooing crying on the internet because Gypsy ran over her with a car. I won't care. That's her problem. In my book, she's dead to me. Dead. Like, if she was in front of me on fire, I wouldn't even piss on her.
Was
Worry
off
about
with
the fact
her a
that
long
she put
time
a
ago.
pew-pew to her head in front of her
Oh,
in
God.
her house with her child in there. That's
Oh,
what she needs to
Lord.
worry about. So if you
Oh,
want to go
Lord.
dirty, let's go there.
Nina,
Talk
you
about that,
all right?
Kate. And if anything, the fact that she's doing that and she's going through a custody issue right now, that should tell them everything they need to know.
Wow, we didn't know that though. We didn't know that. That's a bomb.
Tells me everything I need to know about you as a mother.
I noticed that Bree and Kate manipulated the screenshots. So instead of posting screenshots, I did a screen recording of our messages from Facebook, because I also noticed that she took down or deleted the videos that she sent me. The first message she ever sent me was videos speaking on Gypsy Rose. So
if you have not kept up with Johnny Depp news since his major defamation trial, or the UK trial, that was against his ex-wife Amber Heard and the false allegations that she had made against him, you might not know that in the last several weeks he has been dating a young 20-something Russian model, and this model's name is Yulia Vaslova. She recently went out to a dinner lunch date with a male companion friend that she hadn't seen in quite some time. But they didn't know that it was being recorded, their entire conversation. And what she has to say is bombshell. Bombshell. Because she talks about her manipulation tactics and strategies specifically to do the opposite of love bombing because of his past relationship and trauma with Amber Heard, that she's going to do the opposite of to procure fame and wealth with him. She also goes to say some very unsavory, very unkind things about the man that she has been seen dating.
Celý den kouřím marihuanu, abych se mohl dostat. Chcete se prodat Johnnyho, abyste získali vízum? Možná. První věc, kterou chci udělat, je zavolat fotografii, zatímco bude Johnny se mnou. Chci se zviditelnit, chci se proslavit po celém světě. Je to skvělý nápad, ale je to dobrý nápad. Ano, chci peníze, Johnny je velmi bohatý, chci žít v bohatství. Je bohatý, četl jsem, že vlastní soukromý ostrov. Je to pravda? Ano, je to pravda. Byl jsem na ostrově. Můžu s Johnnym nastoupit do soukromých tryskáčů a žít v luxusu. Můžu mě to vzít do Hollywoodu. Na filmové festivaly, jako je Cannes. Každopádně nejdřív chci vízum do Londýna. Ne, Johnny je starý muž a je hloupý. Celý... Jak se k němu hodláte chovat teď? Chci říct, jak s tím můžete manipulovat? Studoval jsem celý proces, který udělal proti své bývalé ženě. Dozvěděl jsem se o zranitelnosti, kterou má uvnitř. Tyto informace použijí k tomu, abych s ním manipuloval. Zdá se, že jde o dobře prostudovanou strategii. Jsem chytrý, uvězný o sobě. Můžeš mě vyfotit? Našlo mi místo na mém iPhone. Jo, určitě mi dej chvíli. Jak se k němu hodláte chovat teď? Chci říct, jak s tím můžete manipulovat? Studoval jsem celý proces, který udělal proti své bývalé ženě. Dozvěděl jsem se o zranitelnosti, kterou má uvnitř. Tyto informace použijí k tomu, abych s ním manipuloval. Zdá se, že jde o dobře prostudovanou. Velmi pěkná tato restaurace. Nikdy jsem tu nebyl. Líbí se vám? Skvělé jídlo zde. Dobře, pak jdu do posilovny. To zní dobře. Trochu mě překvapuje vaše dnešní pozvání na oběd. Nemluvili jsme spolu už několik měsíců.
Já vím, byl jsem velmi zaneprázdně v praxi. Slyšel jsem, že jsi zpátky v Praze. Tak jsem si myslel, že setkání s námi je dobrý nápad.
Práce je využívá. Jsem rád, že vás vidím. Jsem unavená. Včera jsem se vrátila z Londýna.
Byly tyto měsíce velmi krásné?
Miluji Londýn. Chtěl bych žít v Londýně.
Musíte to udělat. I když tady v Praze máte své přátele, možná není jednoduché všechno opustit.
Ano, hlavní problém je, že potřebuji trvalé vízum. Těžko se... Můžu ti věřit?
Julia, to naše vrství.
Jo, je to velmi dobře. Tady není žádná láska. Je to pro mě jen investice. Nic k němu necítím.
Tisíce blíží doporučuji objednat bramboráky.
Ne, chci jíst palačinky a knedlíky.
Lepší je použít toto.
Že?
Zdá se, že číšník je zaneprázdněn. Dej mi chvilku na to, abych si napsal. Co chceme jíst?
Je mi velmi dobře. Tady není žádná láska. K němu nic necítím. Pro mě je to jen investice, žádná láska.
Já vím, ale zdá se, že je těžké z Johnnyho něco dostat.
Můžu ti věřit?
Julia, je mi líto. Co tady budete dělat? Zůstanete v Praze?
Nevím. Měl jsem plán, jak si vízum vyřídit. Oženit se s někým.
Myslím, že dobrý nápad.
Ano, je to tak. Teď měl velmi podobný plán. Pamatuješ si, jak jsem ti říkala, že chodím s Johnny Depp? Ano, nebo ne?
Pamatuji si to velmi dobře. Ale myslel jsem, že je konec.
Ano, ale teď je Johnny můj plán, jak se dostat do Londýna a ještě dál.
Jak to myslíš, Julia? Vypadá skvěle.
Je to složitá situace. Objeví se a pak zmizí. Velmi často. Pokud mi slíbíte, že o tomto tématu nebudete s nikým mluvit, řeknu vám svůj plán. Můžu ti věřit?
I was friends with Christy for 5 years. She found me. She reached out to me, not the other way around. I had a platform. Christy didn't.
Super funny though, you guys. So I sent a message to Christy on Facebook. And I never know if anyone's going to respond if I send them, you know, because like stuff ends up in like it always ends up in like their boxes, like their others. And if they don't check their other box, they don't sometimes see you. And I wasn't sure if she would see me. And she like I said, oh, she's like, oh, I'm a reporter for blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, who do you work for? And she's like, I said, oh, I write on Pathios.
Always comes critics, and there have been some who say you're now using sort of this situation for fame or to cash in. How would you respond to that criticism?
Well, I can tell you one thing. I'm a very private person, and I don't like the fame. But the one thing that I can do with it is some good. So I'm not in it for fame or fortune. My story is important to me. It happened to me. And I just want to be an advocate. I want to be somebody that can help others. That's seriously all that I want.
I just want to remind everybody that when you search Gypsy Rose's statement about not being an advocate, this is what comes up. Gypsy Rose Blanchard has made several statements about not wanting to be treated like a celebrity and not being an advocate, not a celebrity. Blanchard has said that she is not a celebrity and that she wants to be treated as just Gypsy. She has also removed public figure status from her Instagram account, not an advocate. Blanchard has said that the narrative that has been put out there about her advocacy work has not been accurate. Not a source of personal curiosity. Blanchard has said that she does not want to be asked to relive her trauma for personal curiosity. She has also said that she does not want people to demand answers to questions that are not relevant to their lives. Private life. Blanchard has said that she plans to start living a private life and that she will need to take steps to do so. Mark Feldman, a psychiatrist who specializes in Munchausen by proxy. He's a board-certified psychiatrist, a board-certified neurologist, a professor, and also a multiple times over author. As one of the few who can give actual credence to her mother's diagnosis after he interviewed Gypsy for 2017's Mommy, Dead, and Dearest. Don't ask me to advocate, she said at the end of her message. I am healing. That's funny because her mom can't be diagnosed. So that is very misleading and also a lie. She is deceased. Ooh, is that Gypsy Rose Blanchard Anderson with her baby daddy Ken Urker on a dinner date at Nobu? With sneakers on? What's that little thing that's on Ken's finger? I wonder what that is. A promise ring? Our sources say the promise ring is a symbol that Gypsy is committed to their relationship and their new family, with a baby girl on the way, and it also represents their love. We're told Gypsy told Ken she understands the struggles they face, but in her heart, he is her true husband, and accepting the ring would mean he feels the same way. So hold up, wait, you're telling me that Gypsy gave Ken Urker a promise ring while she's still legally married to her husband, Ryan Anderson, and committed adultery and is pregnant by this guy? I mean, isn't that moving a little bit fast and sound awfully controlling to you? Because it does to me. You should really wait until things settle down and there's better timing, like being divorced first. And if that isn't cringe and ick enough, if this is really her asking for $10,000 on GoFundMe, just this one, for a fresh start after making hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, on her books, her TV show, her documentary, her reality show, her interviews, her People magazine covers, selling all of it to TMZ, People, all of that. You're telling me that she is asking 330 million American citizens to fund her fresh start. Like, that's a special kind of stupid. Because that's not the only one. So that's already $13,500 that she's asking for just from GoFundMe that she expects you to donate to help her instead of just getting a normal job or getting a job at all. And if the baby registry was not enough, there's not only one wedding registry for Amazon, but a second one for Target. Now, I can't confirm if these are real or not. If anybody knows, let me know. Let everybody else know. But this is something else. But let's rewind to 2018 while Gypsy was still behind bars. However, the twosome went their separate ways. This is when Ken initially had asked Gypsy to marry him. The twosome went their separate ways the following year. Gypsy subsequently wed Ryan Scott Anderson in 2022 during a prison ceremony, but she filed for divorce after less than 2 years of marriage and 3 months of actually in real life marriage. Which, hey, not judging about that, but you should have waited till you actually got legally separated, legally divorced, to get pregnant, to fuck around, all this fuckery and dickery and whatever else you want to call it. But the problem that people are having is all these men that are in her life that have been financially caring for her. And she has the audacity to turn around and ask the public for not only $13,500, but an accumulation of over $20,000 worth of gifts between a baby registry and wedding registries. When she has money. I mean, she might have blown it in the last 9 months. Who knows? But the only reason why she wants to move forward with Ken and is putting this promise ring on his finger and all of this is because she wants to lock it down. She wants to cuff it. She wants to trap him. And that is always going to blow back. Psychologically, I think the only reason why she feels this way is because he denied her. He denied her before. He left her and he got with somebody else. Hi everybody, it's Barbara Ann. Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't seen this, I just want to share it really quick. A few days back, somebody named Tay Nicole on Facebook went to my local county fair yesterday and saw this in the middle school projects area. Just think, it's crazy how literal 12-year-olds know she unalived Dee Dee. Now, this is a trifold board, project board, and presumably a middle schooler made this, and it says Dee Dee and Gypsy. Here are two comments that other creators have shared before that was under that said post. Damn, kids really be influenced by the sick sociopath. I like the internet, but damn, it do be screwing up some people's minds. And I couldn't agree more. Sometimes real life, too. Here are informational pieces 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 that I found the problem to be at. Because if you pause to read number 5 here, you'll understand exactly what I mean by that. Because not only was that misinformation and not true, because Gypsy Rose Blanchard testified in Nicholas Godejohn's trial under penalty of perjury that did not happen, and they're sharing it as if it did. But this, unredacted crime scene photos and unaliving weapons. I mean, I'm just really surprised myself that nobody at the middle school or fair even checked that to make sure that that was appropriate, or just to fact check any of the things that were being put out, especially put on display at a county fair. I think that's a little bit odd. I don't know, but you tell me what you think. Would you allow your 12-year-old, your 11-year-old, your 9-year-old, your 13-year-old to make a board like this and present it at school, let alone present it at a fair? Let me know. I find it really odd and very telling of her own behavior when Gypsy Rose constantly, since December 28th of 2023, when she was released from prison, constantly keeps changing her social media pages, her name, whether she's public or private, and the videos, putting things up, taking them down, putting things up, taking them down, putting things up, taking them down. I don't know if that is indicative of a mental disability, a cognitive impairment, or if she just genuinely looks at this like it's a job, which it's hard for me to believe when she doesn't have very much on there, especially all these videos she made so much revenue from being pulled down. But it's really telling because she had 2 videos pinned up at the top that had to do with her meeting Kim Kardashian. And of course, after that whole thing was just exposed, with her commenting, yeah, Kim Kardashian, we have sometimes talk. She sometimes likes my posts. See, here's proof. Here's proof 1. Here's proof number 2. And what is it? It's Kim Kardashian liking that post and that post. And then the other pinned post. Now they're all 3 gone. And there's this. That's just kind of weird. We all know that she changed it to Gypsy Rose Media. Girl, you ain't never going to be a media or production company. Take a back seat and shut the fuck down, okay? But this is what I think is interesting right here. Gypsy Rose is pregnant. She is pregnant. She is carrying a baby. And I know people do not want to hear me say that. But listen, hear me out for a second. Every creator on TikTok under the sun then took those same TikToks they made and put them over there on YouTube and Patreon, Instagram, Facebook. They told you for over 18 weeks. Over 18 weeks solid. They knew she was having a girl. This source said she was having a girl. She's having a girl. Guess what, everybody? Gypsy Rose is having a girl. See? I told y'all after the gender reveal. I told you she was having a girl. See? Look it. She's having a girl. Told you she was having a girl. I reported it first. She's having a girl. Are the same creators right now who are trying to tell you, and yeah, you way out there in the back that this is a fake belly. That she's faking the pregnancy, that she's wearing a moon belly or whatever they're calling it. She's only doing this to show off the fact that she really is pregnant when it's not even a real belly. So which is it? Is she having a girl and she's really pregnant, or is she not? Are also the same exact creators who are running some hypocritical, contradictory bullshit right in your face, which could not be more a slap in the face to your intelligence at any kind of capacity or level in any kind of way. Just saying that this right here is fake. It's fake. And it's not only fake, but in the same breath, they also say they believe it's Ryan's baby and not Ken's. So she's having a girl. She's not really having a baby. She's wearing a fake baby belly. And then it's Ryan's. No, it's not Ryan's. It is Ryan's. It's a moon belly. It's fake. Now she's just showing off because she really is pregnant. I told you she was having a girl. To she's not really pregnant. It's fake. No matter what you think or feel about Gypsy Rose, the infamy that she has today is solely because of the fact that she committed a crime. The most heinous crime in all ethics, laws, and morals of God and man alike. She committed that crime. And people don't like her. People don't like that. They don't like that she got out. But regardless of what I think and feel, regardless of what you think and feel, according to the law, she served her time. Whether or not you believe in the fact that she should have got a plea deal has nothing to do with anything. That baby that is in her belly has absolutely nothing to do with her crime. And you might feel she's undeserving of becoming a mother when she took the life of her own. But that is where karma, God, whatever you believe in, that's not for me to decide. because that's not going to be in alignment. Her karma and what she's going to get, what she deserves, is not going to be in alignment with what I feel and think that she deserves, or what you think or feel she deserves. But pay attention to the creators that you follow and what they're saying, because you couldn't look more ignorant by constantly saying these contradictory things when in using her name as a platform. I'm not exempt from that, but what I'm saying is Gypsy's out and she did her time, okay? My actual views and my actual opinions on the case are a lot more complicated than I will ever say publicly. But Gypsy Rose, she's out. She paid her dues in accordance to her plea deal. She did what she had to do. She's pregnant. Her unborn child has nothing to do with her crime. That unborn child is innocent. And that unborn child does not deserve all of the crazy ass ish that is surrounding her on social media. That is a horrible juju in a horrible way to come into the world. So me, I'm not going to put that out there. I really do believe she's pregnant, clearly. And I really do believe that she intentionally got pregnant by Ken. I believe it's very clearly not Ryan's baby. But that's my personal opinion, and I'm entitled to that the fuck like everybody else is. However, I think if that baby comes out looking a dead ringer to her mama, that is God telling her that you're going to have to stare at the face of the face you unalived for the rest of your life. That is your karma for what you did, is you have to stare at a baby that looks like her. But that's my own personal opinion too. That's kind of how it works out. I just think her behavior on social media, and she is pregnant, she does deserve to show off her baby in any kind of way she wants to. It's her body, it's her baby. She has every right to do that. And that's the same people telling her that she can't and she's just showing off. Yeah, so, and she's showing off. She has every right and ability to do that, just like any other pregnant woman does. You can hate her all day long. That's not going to change anything. All it's going to change is you. You, your heart, your soul, your mind, the inside of you being hateful like that. But I just think that it's really indicative of something larger. I don't want to say mental disability. I don't want to say mental illness, like a cognitive impairment or anything of that level. I just want to say that it seems indicative, her behavior socially on social media. It's almost like she has this need, this deep-seated need to control everything, or somebody is controlling and puppeting Gypsy because she doesn't have the mental capacity to speak for herself and to know better. And she's being puppeted by people who are playing that 10 million followers for the 15 minutes of fame that she has right now. It is what it is.
Troops a lot. Always starting over. Because my exposure to anyone other than my mother was so limited, I had no idea that the way I lived was different or unusual. How could I? I attended school for 1 year, kindergarten. After that, Mama pulled me out to homeschool me.
Homeschool.
Except that was a lie. She didn't register me as a...
So Gypsy Rose just finished recording the audio for her audiobook, where she goes on to tell you that she only went to school for 1 year and then she was homeschooled. Yet if you look at the Louisiana and the Missouri state laws for truancy, because if she wasn't really registered to be homeschooled, why was Dee Dee never arrested or charged underneath the Louisiana or Missouri statute for truancy, which can be insubordination, it can be just missing too many days, unexcused. Insubordination is going but not doing any of the work. You can feel free to read the truancy laws all you want. Or the Missouri truancy laws, because she wants us to believe that the ABUSE that she suffered was much worse and much greater than what it actually was. So much so that she had the right to then do what she did. I don't understand. But if she only went to school for kindergarten and was not homeschooled, how did she learn how to read and write then? This wouldn't have been possible if her mom did not homeschool her and did not ever register her. Yet she never was arrested and charged for truancy. I call bullshit. Most parents know that's bullshit. Your kids miss too much, you get a letter in the mail.
Everyone has a story, but our next guest has one that is both horrifying and heartbreaking. Gypsy Rose Blanchard went to prison after pleading guilty to second-degree murder, the murder of her mother. And throughout her childhood and beyond, Gypsy's mother would tell people her daughter suffered from a string of illnesses and disorders, going so far as to do things that included making her use a wheelchair, a feeding tube, get multiple unnecessary surgeries, and take medication she didn't need. Years of physical, mental, and medical abuse led to Gypsy convincing a man she met online to kill her mother. She served 7 years of her 10-year sentence. She was released last December. Gypsy tells her story. She adds details that have never been heard before in her new memoir, My Time to Stand. And Gypsy joins us this morning. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You're pregnant, by the way, so congratulations on your pregnancy.
Thank you.
You're having a little girl, you said?
I'm having a girl, yes.
Do you have a name yet?
We haven't picked out a name yet, but we have a lot of options.
It's interesting, right, when you are in the process of becoming a parent, how you will find how that will change you as a person. And going through the experience you've gone through, how do you think you're prepared to step into that role?
Well, thankfully, I have a wonderful support system. I have a wonderful family and friends who support me through this journey. So I have lots of feedback from them and just a lot of support from them. So that helps me a lot.
And your story has been well documented, and a lot of people have been following your journey and everything that happened. But what do you want people to know and take away from this memoir?
I really just want them to read this memoir and realize that it doesn't matter what you have been through in your life. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, and that good things still could happen for you regardless of the horrors that you may have experienced in your life, because I think everyone relates to trauma in some form or fashion.
Well, for about 23 years of your life or so, it was basically, you could describe it as a nightmare, right?
Correct.
How were you able to move on or move forward? Do you think about the past? Do you think about your mother?
I mean, of course. I'm in extensive therapy, and I work through my past by going through that therapy. And it's going to be a long journey. It's nothing that I will be able to get over in one day. So it's going to be a lifelong healing process for me.
You say you want to be an influence for change. Can you talk about that? What do you mean by that? And did that experience in prison highlight the fact that you want to be an influence for change?
Absolutely. I feel like there is a lot of positive change that could happen if given the ability. And so I think that there is a lot of things in our justice system that needs to be addressed. So I am an advocate for prison reform, but also for abuse victims. I feel like I was in a situation where I didn't know that there were resources to help children and, victims of abuse in my situation. And so I think that needs to be advocated more, those resources, and more knowledge and education about that.
Yeah, talk about that, because you say in and out of prison, your platform you're using right now to really spread the message that there needs to be change and there is hope, as you were mentioning. But talk about your time in prison and the learning aspect you went through in terms of finding what resources were available and learning a lot for yourself about what lies ahead.
Of course, there are resources that are within the prison system, but getting those resources are actually quite difficult. And so I think that there needs to be very, very specific things that are laid out, because it is very difficult for incarcerated individuals to get the extensive mental health therapy that they would require. So there needs to be more advocacy on that.
You talked about something that you hadn't mentioned until recently, how you were actually addicted to painkillers, right? That was something that many people didn't know. I was wondering, at the time that the murder of your mother happened, were you under the influence of the painkillers? Were you high? Did that influence what occurred that night?
I was, during that week, abusing painkillers. However, that was not something that affected my mental state at that time.
Interesting. It's fascinating to me that for so many years, you went along with this fabricated story, right? And I guess I have a hard time understanding how, when you would go visit doctors, because you did extensively, how those doctors were unable to see the truth, that you actually could walk, that you didn't need a feeding tube, that you didn't need these drugs you were given. I mean, it's just baffling to me. How was someone out there not saying, wait a minute, she doesn't need any of this stuff. This is all a lie.
I know. The level of deception that my mother had over these doctors was so extensive and so severe that these doctors would ignore test results coming back normal and things like this, things that should have been red flags. And unfortunately, I was one of the individuals of many that fall through the cracks.
So do you find those doctors in any way responsible for carrying on and allowing your mother then in a way to carry on this lie?
I'd kind of chalk that up to human error. I think we all want to believe the good in people. So, I struggle with that. It is something that, yes, I do feel like they should be held accountable in ways. And other ways, I also feel like it was misjudgment on their part.
What do you think? Do you think there needs to be reform in the medical healthcare system as well? And what has helped you the most since being out of prison in terms of helping to rehabilitate your life?
Of course, I think that there should be more red tape within the medical system. I think that it should be a requirement for doctors to take a certain course while going through medical school on Munchausen by proxy syndrome. And I think that, in general, there needs to be more advocacy and more awareness about Munchausen by proxy syndrome. And yes, I have an amazing support system that gets me through all of this. I've been out of prison for 10 months, and so far that has been a very eventful 10 months. So the support system that I have has been my inspiration for continuing to push on and go beyond my means of just being an average person, and hopefully can move on into being a voice for change.
It hasn't even been a year, but once you came out, you became a viral sensation, and you have a huge social media following. So I think, that's something difficult to adjust to, even if you didn't have everything that you've had in your life. That's for sure. Thank you for coming by. We appreciate you being here, and we do want people to know that, of course, they can pick up a copy of your memoir, My Time to Stand. Will hit shelves in December, almost a full year after Gypsy was released from prison. To pre-order a copy, just use that QR code right there on your screen. We're going to take a break.
What she was thinking in the other room, listening to her mother screaming sometimes.
I didn't think anything.
Didn't think anything.
I was scared. I was shaking. I didn't have a thought in my brain. It was like it was all not real. I was on a bunch of medications, and I know that's no excuse, but on Xanax, I felt like I had no emotion, and I wasn't thinking right.
Hello everybody, it's Barbara Ann and welcome back to my channel, Straight Out of Context. I know by now a lot of you have already seen the Good Day LA interview that Gypsy Rose Blanchard did promoting her memoir, her second book called My Time to Stand. She just finished wrapping up her voiceover work for the audiobook version of her memoir, My Time to Stand. So she is promoting that. So she apparently was in LA because she made an appearance and did an interview on Good Day LA. And she speaks very much about prison reform and wanting to be an influence for change. Although we have all stood by and watched her do nothing for over 10 months. Nothing at all to be an advocate, to be an influence, for change, to do a goddamn thing for prison reform. As far as work goes, she has zero motivation. But she goes on this interview and is specifically talking about how difficult it is for prisoners to get these resources and all the things that they have to do to try to get it, and how there should be reform here. Well, I think prison reform worked damn good for her, considering that she committed first-degree premeditated murder with a special circumstance which qualified her for the death penalty under Missouri state statute for the definition of first-degree premeditated murder. Anybody over the age of 18 who knowingly causes the death of another person. Upon deliberation is where the premeditation part comes in. But special circumstance would be a heinous crime like being partially decapped and stabbed 17 times in your sleep, in your bed, in the safety and privacy of your own locked home. And she got a 10-year plea deal for second degree, which is not what she did by the legal standard definition at all of her crime. So I think that prison reform worked really damn good for her, and that's why she's not an advocate, because it's not something that she's going to talk about. However, she did bring it up about how these other prisoners, it's so hard for them to get supports and resources and all of these things. But if you look up what prison programs Chillicothe Prison in Missouri has, you see that they have a lot. They have a lot for female prisoners as well. Chillicothe Correctional Center, Missouri Department of Corrections. There's therapy and treatment. It provides specialized programming for offenders with severe mental illnesses and developmental disabilities, which of course Gypsy falls underneath that, because if anybody has ever even spoken to Gypsy long term, you can pick up on there's a cognitive impairment there, maybe a dual diagnosis of mental illness and developmental disability, but they have therapy for that. Chillicothe Correctional Center also has the Companions at Chillicothe program. It provides educational foundation for the prison staff and the inmate population, building confidence and self-esteem. They have a ton of things for women specifically, as well as I want to show you this. Yes, you can earn a college degree at Chillicothe Correctional Center in Missouri through partnerships with colleges and university. Rockhurst University, Washington University, St. Louis University. Other colleges and universities that partner with the Missouri Department of Corrections include State Technical College of Missouri, Hannibal LaGrange University, Ashland University. Missouri Department of Corrections also offers vocational training programs in correctional institutions. These programs include applied computer technology, basic welding, building trades, business technology, certified nurse's assistant, commercial vehicle operator, cosmetology, diesel mechanics, electrical wiring technology, heavy equipment operator. There is even more. Women at Missouri prison earns degree. Finds hope through classes from KC University. Sorry about those pop-ups, everybody. Right here, graduation ceremony was held at Chillicothe Correctional Center. Even 11 participants earned associate degrees through a program sponsored at Rockhurst University, and that's only one of them. Every single one of them women. You know, one of them looks as young as 25. The oldest looks as old as 74. And you're going to say that there's absolutely no programs at all, or that it's difficult to get? Parole board, rehabilitation through job skills, suicide is forever video, male version, suicide is forever, female version. And they also have here all these other educational and training program, volunteer, vocational, career, and technical training programs, because the whole thing is, I don't know, if you're there for 8.5 years out of a 10-year sentence, she could have earned a bachelor's or a master's degree. I mean, if she had the cognitive function and ability to do so, she could have simultaneously been getting the therapy and treatment that she so desperately needed, as well as getting a college degree to get out to get a job, to be self-sufficient and self-sustaining, since she is physically able to work. So to me, They even have substance use and recovery treatment services there. You know, they have a ton of things. So that is not only misleading, but she's not being a voice for change and positive influence on prison reform and female prisoners specifically, because there's already so many things that she could have utilized, which she chose by choice not to utilize to her maximum positive benefit. She decided to get her GED, which was the bare minimum, lie to the parole board about being an advocate, got out on parole, and did nothing but dick around, fuck around, and lie, snap back at everybody and the haters for 10 months. Go on interviews, publicizing her own TV shows, her own documentaries, her own books, lying to the public. That is no fucking different than what she did for 23 years, 11 months, and 14 days with her own mother. Absolutely no different.
Guys literally mocked my child with a disability, and Bree pretended like she was a dog with hydrocephalus because that dog was my son. What the fuck is wrong with you, Sheena? Catch me outside, Sheena. How about that? Catch me outside. How about that? Sheena.
Listen,
No.
I'm home. I couldn't talk earlier, but I'm not going to have anyone talk to me when I can't respond back. So
You dare accuse me.
Got about 5 minutes, and I'll listen to what you have to say.
Sheena, I listened to you accuse me of abusing alcohol when I was pregnant. Never happened. And I literally heard you say, I'm going to say this with my whole chest. Katie needs to put the bottle down and stop abusing prescription drugs, none of which I do. You accuse me of being an alcoholic and abusing my son's prescription medications, sniffing Addy, and being a drug addict, none of which I am. And you are confident. You are so fucking confident. And you are 100% wrong. You did a video and accused me, or you were on some panel accusing me of drinking my entire pregnancy. I didn't drink a drop. Where the fuck does this come out from, huh?
Tell me when you're done and I'll respond.
There's no response other than saying you're sorry.
Wrong.
No.
First of all, I never accused you of drinking while you were pregnant. I don't know how many kids you have. I know you have one that's 3 or 4, I've heard. Don't know anything about him. I saw a bottle on the table, and I said, while people are accusing Bree of things, they need to push the bottle away from their face.
No, that's not what you said. That is not what you said. You said that you had been sober for 16 years and you knew an addict when you saw one. And you accused me of being an alcoholic and a drug addict. And Bree, I was watching,
I need receipts. I need receipts on that.
Oh, you always have selective amnesia. Faith was there
I don't
too.
ever recall accusing you of being a drug addict.
You said I abused Faith. What did she say?
That you abused Adderall and
okay, I want receipts. Want receipts.
You said it, and then Bree said that I sniffed them.
Want receipts. You have them. Well, I did see a video of you like hunting them down. I mean, you were hunting them hard. I don't know what you do with them, but you know. But here's the thing, Katie, you have to understand, I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change.
How about you just say you're sorry and you were wrong?
I'm not going to say that because I don't feel that. And it also said, I don't know what you do with them or whatever. I just said that.
Okay, Sheena, listen, I'll tell you what I do with them. Sheena, I have ADHD. I'm prescribed medication for my ADHD, and I take them as prescribed. I take one per day of a controlled medication that is prescribed to me by a doctor.
Okay.
I don't hunt shit down. I get them from a pharmacy.
Okay. All right.
I don't sniff shit.
What do you want now?
I want you to say you're sorry and that you were wrong.
Not going to happen. That's
you were
not
wrong.
Happen.
You were wrong.
You're looking for something here you're not going to find. You're just not going to find it.
You are 54 years old and a
Pull it out.
Bitch.
Pull it out. I said, show me the receipts. Pull it out.
It's in your ass. She's a fucking bitch.
I hope she plays Hot to Go. This is Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
I have choice in life, and that's something to not take for granted. I have a choice now to make myself into whatever I want to be, and that should go for everybody. You're not defined by your past, your status, or anything else. You can choose.
Ariana, what are you doing here?
Can't bring me down. I'm on a high right now. I'm living my best life, and y'all can't remember me.
You should come through in the mini skirt. No problem.
Can't bring me.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah, I stabbed a man in the heart.
I saw that.
You say you want to be an influence for change. Can you talk about that? What do you mean by that? And did that experience in prison highlight the fact that you want to be an influence for change?
Absolutely. I feel like there is a lot of positive change that could happen if given the ability. And so I think that there is a lot of things in our justice system that needs to be addressed. So I am an advocate for prison reform, but also for abuse victims. I feel like I was in a situation where I didn't know that there were resources to help children and, victims of abuse in my situation. And so I think that needs to be advocated more, those resources, and more knowledge and education about that.
I remember DSS coming to my house. They kept my mother in the living room, and they talked to me alone in my bedroom. And they asked me, did I have bruises on me? And I showed them, no, I don't. We were bonded by this lie together, like we couldn't escape each other.
To find out that these two people that they had cared so much for were not who they thought. The windows so nobody could see what was going on inside the house.
Was attached to her and attached to Dee Dee. So how was it chained to anything? Inventoried by the sheriff's department.
They had done some tests and found out she had a chromosome disorder that was causing all of her functions from developing, her digestive system and her muscle.
How do you kill your own mother? I
mean, there's got to be a reason. There's got to be some abuse there. You don't just, I'm gonna kill my mother because I want to be with a boyfriend.
I did make her have an orgasm once.
Okay.
And then after that, she might have blew me a little bit, and then after that, I think we stopped because we realized there was a lot of packing and stuff to do.
Okay. So you guys get everything packed, she wipes down the fingerprints, and then what do you guys do?
She's like, I mean, is she taking any sort of, you know, is she like, well, okay, it was me too, or is she trying to put it all on?
She takes some responsibility, but not much. Not much at all.
When you commit a first-degree murder, you knowingly cause the death of another person after deliberation. Analysis of cell phones provided evidence of numerous text messages between Gypsy Blanchard and Nick.
It's relief. You know, at the very beginning of this, there was the question of the death penalty on the table.
Something that you hadn't mentioned until recently, how you were actually addicted to painkillers, right? That was something that many people didn't know. I was wondering, at the time that the murder of your mother happened, were you under the influence of the painkillers? Were you high? Did that influence what occurred that night?
You know, I was, during that week, abusing painkillers. However, that was not something that affected my mental state at that time.
Interesting. You know, it's fascinating to me that for so many years you went along with this fabricated story, right? And
I was on a bunch of medications, and I know that's no excuse, but on Xanax, I felt like I had no emotion, and I wasn't thinking right.
Why didn't nobody know she could walk?
Her mom wanted everyone thinking that she's like 16 the entire time, so yeah, she felt kind of trapped.
I don't know what she was putting in my stepson's head.
Yeah.
You know?
I think he's madly in love with this.
I know. I mean, that's the way it works, though. When you have what he has, it's like your mind focuses on one thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, ma'am. Do you think that if Gypsy hadn't asked you to kill her mom, you'd ever killed her mom?
I know I wouldn't have done it.
Okay. You just did it because you loved Gypsy and Gypsy asked you to do it.
Yes.
Is that what I'm thinking? Okay.
She now doesn't have a language beyond manipulation and retaliation.
I don't believe I deserve as many years as I got.
But your mother is dead.
She is, yes.
And she was murdered.
Yes, sir.
And you were involved.
I was.
And but for you initiating this sequence of events, she would still be alive.
Yes, sir.
So in that sense, you are responsible for her death.
Through my life, yes. She taught me how to be a good liar. A very good liar without any conscience.
She's a beast.
Yeah.
Don't turn your back, she might stab you.
She is potentially dangerous. Dee Dee was a master manipulator, and it's impossible that Gypsy would not have picked this up and used it.
As sad as it may sound, her story really does finally have a happy ending, at least for her.
What she was thinking in the other room, listening to her mother screaming sometimes.
I didn't think anything. I was scared, I was shaking. I didn't have a thought in my brain. It was like it was all not real. I was on a bunch of medications, and I know that's no excuse, but on Xanax, I felt like I had no emotion, and I wasn't thinking right.
And I didn't know what addiction really was. I just knew that it was a craving that that's all I could think about.
Mentioned until recently how you were actually addicted to painkillers, right? That was something that many people didn't know. I was wondering, at the time that the murder of your mother happened, were you under the influence of the painkillers? Were you high? Did that influence what occurred that night?
You know, I was, during that week, abusing painkillers. However, that was not something that affected my mental state at that time.
On Xanax, interesting. It's fascinating to me that for so many years, you went along with this fabricated story, right? And I guess I have a hard time understanding how when you would go visit doctors, because you did extensively, how those doctors were unable to see the truth.
Here we go. All right, look, I've got it. How's your pregnancy going? Good. You're glowing. It looks good. It looks really good on you. Thank you. Yeah, feeling good?
I'm feeling really good, yeah.
All right, all right. You guys getting renewed for another season of Lifetime? Can you say?
I don't think we're at liberty to say yet.
Okay. You know something? I can read between the lines on that. Yet. One of the biggest stories in the world right now. The Menendez brothers. Have you been following that at all, or?
Not a whole lot. I'm not very educated in their case or anything.
So they went to prison for murdering their parents. And nobody denies that they did it, but it's coming out and it's pretty credible. A lot of people feel that they were abused by their parents. So now the DA is reviewing their case, and they're possibly going to get released. And I kind of wanted your opinion on that.
Okay. Well, I mean, I really can't speak on the specifics of that case. I'm not really educated in that case. But I will say that I'm an advocate for abuse victims in general, and I'm all about prison reform.
So if that happened, though, if their parents did abuse them, I mean, do you support their release, you think?
I don't think either of us are educated enough on the subject to really give it a great.
Sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree with Ken. I think that, if their case is being reviewed, then, hopefully something can be done. I think that, abuse victims need to be advocated for more.
Yeah. Kim Kardashian actually supported that, and she defended that, and, she's supporting their release. But she's gotten some serious pushback, You don't think that's fair at all? And
Kim is
hard to say.
Woman. Kim is a wise woman.
She is.
She makes good decisions.
She is.
In her prison reform era,
Okay.
I think she's doing good in that era.
What advice would you have for them? Very simple. They spent 30 years in prison. What advice would you have for them when they get out? You dealt with it, obviously.
It's very difficult to come out to a world that has changed so much, even in the time that I spent. So, reacclimating is a difficult thing. So I would say take your time and, adjust properly and get therapy, because you'll need it in this world day and age.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. You're awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Bye.
I'm from the Kent Sheriff's Office. How are you today? Good. Doing all right? Good. All right. Well, Gypsy, I'm here and I want to get a little bit of information from you. So, since this is the first time I've ever met you, okay? So, what is the correct spelling of your first name?
It's Gypsyrose, and my middle initial is A.
Okay.
And my last name is Blancchard.
Blancchard.
Blancharde is Blanchard.
Blanchard. Okay, with an E. Okay. All right. And your date of birth, Gypsy?
Is 7/27/1995. On here they have 91 because let me make this a long story, but
okay, sure.
Me and my mother are Hurricane Katrina survivors.
Okay.
And my birth certificate was washed away in Katrina.
Okay.
And unfortunately, they messed up a long time when they messed up the paperwork, and it said 1991, but it's actually 95.
Okay. And that puts you at how old then?
I would be really 19, but on here it's my Medicaid. My medical insurance has 23.
Okay. All right. So how old actually are you? Let's get
19.
19. Okay.
And, to add on top of it, keeping my own age from me.
That's crazy, yeah.
Because when I was little, growing up, we didn't use the numbered candles. Like, that was not a thing in my home.
Okay, right.
So when it came around that it was my birthday, she would wish me happy birthday, but she wouldn't tell me how old I was.
do you remember when Gypsy and Ryan were on the podcast called The Vile Files, which is ran by Nick Vile? Well, guess what?
I couldn't help but wonder if you still had a flame for Ken. You were in a different relationship. A lot's happened. Even on that episode, Ken got brought up a little bit. What prompted you to reach back out?
I did not expect the pregnancy at all. All of those little things that I wish I could have had growing up, I want to give to my daughter. I'm not this monster. I'm not the person that they say on social media. I'm not any of those things. I might not be a perfect parent. Nobody is.
Let's talk Kardashians. Have you kept in touch with them at all?
Is there any part of you that thinks about the relationship your mom would have with her?
This is a completely staged and orchestrated PR tour that Gypsy Rose has embarked on recently because she is promoting her book, which she has done the voice work for the audiobook version of, so you can listen to her book in her own voice. She's doing nothing to advocate, to be a voice for change, to make a difference, to use her platform for the last 10 months to do anything other than bump updates and promotion. And if any PR company or manager or attorney or assistant or anybody that's affiliated with her team actually think that the public out here is so fucking ignorant and stupid that we don't see that, you have another thing coming. So Gypsy Rose is going to be on the Vile Files again, going deeper, because they didn't go deep enough the first time. No, it sounds to me like she's just promoting and promoting and promoting. And this time she has Ken with her. For somebody who's never done this before, yeah, you come back into her life when she's got the attention, the fame, the following, the money, the PR, all of it. That's when you decide to come back into her life. Who the fuck do you think you are playing? We all see exactly who she is. We see you for exactly who you are. And I don't know who in their right mind would bring you on a podcast to not ask the hard questions about the lies, the inconsistencies, and this piece of shit defense strategy that has fallen apart before they can even say it. But to be an advocate and a voice for change, it means doing the groundwork, the field work, all the hard work. It is selfless. It is exhausting. It is, you don't get paid for it. It consumes most of your time, most of your day, most of your life. Gypsy Rose is not going to do anything that is not in service to herself. And nothing screams psychological egoism, megalomaniac, narcissism more than that. Anybody who can live and operate and move through life, well, I have a choice now. You do have a choice, but you have decided to really not make anything of yourself, to be self-sustaining. You want to be sustained by a man, by somebody else. And that's fine if you want to be a mother. That's fine if you want to be married, if you want to be a wife. But you have the ability and the platform to make a change, to bring awareness for other people as well, to change legislation, to change policy. I would say one thing to Gypsy. The next time you do an interview or a podcast or a news article or a TMZ, I want these people to ask you one thing. Please give me a list. Show me just one thing. Prove me wrong. Show me just one thing that you have done. One thing that has actually been on your resume for actual advocacy, for actual making a change, for actual awareness, for actual education. I want to know. Just name me one thing. Just one thing that has not been you promoting your own TV show, your own Lifetime show, your own documentary, your own book, your own social media. Just one thing. If anybody can do that, and it be a substantially real thing.
What she was thinking in the other room, listening to her mother screaming sometimes.
I didn't think anything. I was scared, I was shaking. I didn't have a thought in my brain. It was like it was all not real. I was on a bunch of medications, and I know that's no excuse, but on Xanax, I felt like I had no emotion, and I wasn't thinking right. And I didn't know what addiction really was. I just knew that it was a craving that I all I could think about. I wanted another one.
About something that you hadn't mentioned until recently, how you were actually addicted to painkillers, right? That was something that many people didn't know. I was wondering, at the time that the murder of your mother happened, were you under the influence of the painkillers? Were you high? Did that influence what occurred that night?
I was, during that week, abusing painkillers. However, that was not something that affected my mental state at that time.
On Xanax, interesting. It's fascinating to me that for so many yees,
I wasn't myself. I had been taking
I guess I have a hard time understanding
narcotics, such as Xanax and Vicodin.
How those doctors were unable
I was
to see the
high.
truth.
I wasn't myself. Very high. I had been taking narcotics, such as Xanax and Vicodin. I was high. Very high.
Apparently, the United Cajun Navy is supposed to be doing this peaceful rally for Nicholas Godejohn, and it is supposed to take place tomorrow. This is a flyer for it. Apparently, this has been postponed until sometime in March, when NPG Cornerstone Nation, who are the only spokespeople for Nicholas Godejohn, but the only official spokespeople for Nicholas Godejohn, according to himself and his father, when they are supposed to be holding their rally in Washington, D.C. As you can see, some pretty amazing names that are content creators are sponsoring and supporting this rally for Nicholas Godejohn. That is, if they're all aware that their name and picture are being used. The Cajun Navy was created in 2005 after Hurricane Katrina devastated many communities, and what it is essentially local residents who come to the aid of other residents in the time of need and natural disaster. Because the Cajun Navy was having such issues with some of the members collecting donations, showing up, not doing any of the work that was necessary to aid other people in the community and people that were devastated by these natural disasters, but they also were not providing that money that was donated specifically for those purposes. So in response to that, the Cajun Navy broke away and officially became the Pinnacle Search and Rescue. And the other people became the United Cajun Navy. This was in about 2016 when this split happened, because they were having issues with people taking funds, donated funds, and also not providing them or doing the work. You can feel free to do your own research or make your own calls, make your own contacts to confirm this. There have been multiple issues in the past 8 years, but specifically, and I don't know this person, but they keep bringing up a person named Cajun Jen.
Is posted on their page. They're calling out the United Cajun Navy, folks. They're calling out the United Cajun Navy. Do not assist them. I'm telling my platforms, you are being scammed. If you go out there with them, you're being bamboozled. You're being used for their own donations. They are using Seth Rogers. And then there's conflicting things now, according to Nancy Grace. Who are they there for? Are they there for really the Proudfoots? Because of the way I heard it on Nancy Grace yesterday, is as if the Proudfoots contacted them. Is this all a distraction? with them. Is it? It's shameful. I'm sick to my stomach. I'm seeing a scam before my eyes. I'm trying to raise the red flags. If you're there, pull out your camera and ask them for their credentials. Ask them who they are. Ask the organizer. If you decide to go and you want to go and you want to make a difference on finding Sebastian, go up to whoever's running this operation with your camera and ask them who they are. Ask them to provide you identification. Ask them to provide you credentials on who they are. They remind me of those people when hurricanes hit and disasters hit, and they come in there and they try to say, donate money up front and we'll fix your roof and we'll do this, that. That's who they remind me of, these gypsies that, fake the work. One, we're going to talk about the United Cajun Navy. They're gone. They're out of there. They left, according to what they're saying. Not so sure if it's true. But it seems like they came up to Hendersonville, Tennessee, to that community with those great folks and tried to run the town.
So as you can see, I don't know who Cajun Jen is myself, but all I know is that people are saying she's one of the top members of the United Cajun Navy, and they are very problematic for scamming and stealing donations. This was yesterday, and the rally is supposed to be tomorrow, October 18th, 2024, and they still didn't even have a rally coordinator, and they did not have the permits. How do I know that? Because we called Missouri and we checked about the permits. In order to get a state permit, you have to do that 3 to 4 months in advance. 8 weeks for a city permit, and there's no permit pulled at all, state or city, or for a building permit or any other special circumstances. No permit. So we know this rally tomorrow is absolutely not happening. It's not happening because they didn't weeks ago, get the state or city permit to do so. So my friend, who I absolutely love and adore because she's got such a good heart and she loves everybody. Not Sorry Charlie, I guess, had her ass just reamed, screamed at, yelled at, all this stuff about her trying to warn some people regarding the problematic past and current problems that people have noticed with United Cajun Navy and the people that are affiliated with that who are supposedly running the Nicholas Godejohn rally that is supposed to be happening tomorrow. Charlie actually has somebody that is impersonating her. But she's also not wrong, and I'll tell you why. NPG Cornerstone Nation is anonymous for a reason, because they don't want to be stalked, harassed, doxxed, and all of that. And that is their right. They don't have to go to anybody and prove who they are. All you need to know is that Nicholas Godejohn and his father say that's their official spokesperson. That should be enough for you. They are holding their own rally in Washington, D.C. sometime in March, hopefully. And that is all anybody needs to know. If you want to donate to Nicholas Godejohn, donate directly to him so he can buy things he needs, like ramen noodles or snacks or toothpaste or deodorant or shampoo, which everybody knows because other people have shared this. You can do through JPay. This is not an official Nick Godejohn rally, and Nicholas Godejohn has no idea about this. The only official rally that NPG Cornerstone is doing, NPG Cornerstone will let you know. Nick and Nick's father does not co-sign this rally that was supposed to happen tomorrow, which we know is not happening because nobody did the work of getting the permits. And as of yesterday, they didn't even have a rally coordinator. But Charlie was telling you the truth because I was on a call for her with hours today with another person that is a direct source. And this direct source and her husband are a part of the Alabama Pinnacle Search and Rescue. And this person has one of the most respectable legal jobs and the highest legal jobs that anybody can hold. And so with that being said, having spoken to this person directly and getting this and this actual communication with NPG Cornerstone, Charlie was absolutely correct about trying to warn people to stay away from this rally and do not donate to this rally, because she loves and genuinely cares about people, but also Nicholas Godejohn. There's a lot of misinformation out there about Nicholas Godejohn, such as everybody constantly saying that he's trying to get a new trial. That's not true. His attorney is trying to fight for a different sentencing. But from NPG Cornerstone themselves, they're saying that Charlie essentially is correct, that she was telling everybody the truth, trying to warn them. You can feel free to pause to read. So this is not an attack on anybody personally, especially Cajun Jen, who I don't even know who she is. But United Cajun Navy is very problematic. They shouldn't be hosting this rally that has absolutely nothing to do with Nicholas Godejohn, and it's not even going to be happening tomorrow anyway. And if they say that they're postponing theirs till March when NPG is doing theirs, it sounds to me like somebody is trying to constantly piggyback right off of a real thing for ulterior motives. So beware, do not donate to them, and really don't be affiliated with them. By now, I'm sure all 8 billion people on planet Earth and all 330 million American citizens have already seen me and other content creators who get paid to keep Gypsy relevant already speaking about this. But I'm going to do my spin because Gypsy Rose Blanchard says that she's taken a paternity test this week. Gypsy Rose Blanchard is cutting through the confusion about her unborn child's paternity, we're told. She's finally set to take a paternity test this week while still pregnant. Sources familiar with the situation tell TMZ Gypsy isn't questioning her boyfriend Ken Urker's paternity. She's doing this to give the public and her estranged ex Ryan Anderson some closure, so he and everyone else can move on and know once and for all RA is not the baby daddy. We're hearing that Ryan Anderson hasn't been clued in about the DNA test because Gypsy doesn't need his DNA. She only needs Ken's to confirm that he is the baby daddy. She's confident it's him. But if he's not, the results will clearly show he's a 0% match. Yes, and if you look up the actual law in Louisiana and Gypsy's divorce filing, you will find out that if a child is conceived while the mother is married to someone other than the biological father, or if the mother is divorced for less than 300 days at the time of birth, the husband is presumed to automatically be the father, meaning that they go on the birth certificate. But DNA test right here. If Urker wants his name on the birth certificate, Anderson must sign an affidavit stating that Urker is the father and essentially giving away his rights, and then they're going to amend it. If Anderson doesn't sign the affidavit, Urker can file a motion with the courts and they will need to take a DNA test. Costs, other considerations. So chances are that as a part of her divorce, she's going to have to do a court-mandated DNA test anyway, if anybody is trying to fight or prove otherwise. Which I know there has been a whole lot of speculation. Of course, Gypsy Rose herself creates it. It's her life, her drama, and she puts it out there. But I personally think that you guys all underestimate her. I think she knew exactly what she was doing, and I think she intentionally got pregnant by Ken. When there's so many birth control and preventative options out there today to not only prevent pregnancy from happening, but things that you can do to stop it right after it occurs from becoming a full-blown pregnancy, there's no excuse for anybody to be pregnant today with all of the methods that we've had in the last 10 years unless you absolutely want to be. So yes, I believe that Gypsy's baby daddy really is Ken Urker because that's who she wanted to get pregnant by. But the very concerning part is why not wait till the baby is born and lower the risk? Because doing an amniocentesis, which is where they take an actual needle and they put it all the way in there and they extract amniotic fluid to then test and do this paternity DNA test. Is that really worth the pros and the cons there? Is that really worth the risks? Especially her age, being high risk already, being her first pregnancy, all of that. Would you really want to put any, even a 1% chance risk on that baby just to say ha ha to society and social media and your haters? I don't think so, but that's my own personal opinion, and I'm entitled to it like every other dumb motherfucker on this planet is. But here's where other people did not get the amniocentesis correct. When you look and read and comprehend amniocentesis, it tells you right here, and you can also talk to your OBGYN. If you're a mother of children, you probably have at one time or another heard of amniocentesis, but it's usually performed between 15 and 20 weeks. Anything after that is too much of a risk of accidentally harming the baby as the baby gets larger and fatter, especially the last 3 months of the pregnancy, especially the last 6 to 4 weeks. They put on a lot of their body fat, but that's when they're actually massively growing, and they don't want to do an amniocentesis because not only is the amniotic fluid not accessible like it once was when they were smaller, but the baby is filling up a larger portion of the actual placenta, so it makes it harder for them to do the amniocentesis without accidentally poking the unborn child, which is an added risk to this. So doing this for just no other reason than she wants to prove it to everybody on social media and the haters and say, haha, well, guess what? I'm not a part of that group. I'm not a part of that group. I'm not a part of that group. Because guess what? I absolutely that she is not pregnant by Ryan. She may have been trying to at one point, but we all watched her take that plan B, and we all watched the rest of this shit happen right there in front of your eyes. Everybody watched it happen. So everybody speculating is doing nothing more than creating a whole bunch of drama and BS for no other reason than to just do it. But it's going to be funny because if she does go through with this DNA test and she does get the results back, I'm going to be the first one to say, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. Because I did. I did. And not only that, but Gypsy herself told you so. Her very bizarre, unnatural obsession with Ken Urker is for no other reason than he psychologically denied her and was with another woman for over 5 years. That is nothing more than ha 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 to him. But that's what sociopaths do. That's what narcissists do. It's not about a baby. It's not about love. It's not about a family. It's about ha ha. Bitch, I got your balls now.
Yeah, you better watch it.
Girl, what the fuck is so wrong with that? Like,
They just need things to grasp onto to, talk shit. It's crazy. I'm sorry that's the life you guys like to live.
So, as you all have already seen, sources, manager, stepmom, Bree, close to Gypsy Rose Blanchard, have contacted TMZ as well as other mainstream media publishings and outlets to confirm that Gypsy Rose Blanchard and Ken Urker are having a DNA test done on their baby while she is in utero. Later term, which means she likely has to have an amniocentesis done. However, it is alleged that Gypsy Rose Blanchard has already done it. But if you look here, amniocentesis, DNA testing can take anywhere from 1 to 3 days, up to a couple of weeks to get back. This is a PR strategy where they contact TMZ and they run a publishing on their website or other places like People, Lifetime, any other websites. But when they reported that Monday she would be undergoing this DNA test, what a lot of people don't know is that they probably meant last Monday, and she probably already did it, and she probably already got the results, because allegedly that has already occurred. Allegedly it is 99.9% Ken Urker's baby. Whether or not the court or a judge would still mandate that she does a paternity test post-birth, and whether or not this one's even going to be admissible in her divorce case, that's all up in the air because we have no idea. But I do know one thing. If she actually did have the DNA test done last week and they just published this week and she already has the results, I think Gypsy Rose is impulsive enough that she would have already posted that or shown that and been ha ha ha. So until I see it with my own eyes, I'm not going to believe it. But it's been said for the past 6 months that she has already been filming for her second Lifetime show, which may or may not be called Love After Lockup, since that's already the name of another show. It could be called Gypsy Rose Blanchard Finds Love After Lockup, or something of a variation of that. So it is alleged that Gypsy Rose Blanchard and Ken Urker have already done the DNA test and they already have the results. But she's not impulsively showing it and saying haha to all her haters. I think, in my own opinion, because all of this is alleged, just like everything that circles around her fucking life and drama is alleged. In my own opinion, if they've done this, it was already strategically done a week or more than 2 weeks ago. But that was strategically done for one reason and one reason only. And that was for the cameras that are there still filming for her second season of her show, which may not be an actual second season. It may be more like her finding love, her having a baby, her having a family. Gypsy Rose Blanchard, love after lockup, finding love after lockup. Her fairy tale, and we all know that it's anything but, because Ken Urker's entire body language, anytime he's on a live or photographed, it speaks for itself. So I think that's going to get spread around like wildfire, just like anything that's alleged about Gypsy Rose is. But I think that, yeah, if that is true and the results are 99.9%, her behavior has told us everything that we need to know about her and about her obsession with Ken and her very strategic plan to get pregnant by Ken and then make it appear like she's giving him this option. Well, I'm pregnant and you don't have to be, and I'll be the mom and I'll do everything without you. I don't want you to be with me if you don't really love me. No. This is all strategic. Everything in Gypsy's life has been calculated and strategic. And if she's got these results, you're not going to see it until this airs on her show or it is leaked some way, somehow. But either which way, I do believe that Ken Urker is the baby daddy because he's the only other dumb motherfucker on this planet that would even impregnate her. So that screams creep in and of itself. And even though I like Ryan and I think he's funny and I think he's a genuinely good guy, I don't know. I see a side of him that has been severely angry and mouthy and wordy and almost controlling, which tells me that there's some issues there too. But anybody who would seek out somebody who unalived their mom, yeah, you're a fucking creep just for that. So everybody would just have to come to the conclusion and the deduction by elimination that the only reason why you're fucking with Gypsy Rose Blanchard to begin with is because of the fame. You do know you can get a DNA test through a blood test, right? Yes, I do. But here's the thing with that. The NIPP or NIPT testing is not approved by the United States Food and Drug Administration. And the reason being is because they are not accurate or reliable. And you can feel free to look into that yourself. But there's a lot of other issues that come along with this non-invasive type of testing while the baby is still in utero. And part of that is if the mother has health issues or has genetic issues, the blood test from the mother can actually cause issues with obtaining any kind of fetal cells that may be in there and isolating them to then test. But to go into that in a simpler way, it's also not admissible in a court of law. And for somebody like Gypsy Rose, who is going through a legal divorce, and it is presumed by Louisiana law that her husband is the father, and she has to go through these steps to prove that Ken Urker is the father, and probably have to amend the birth certificate after the baby is born, even if she gets a bifurcation, which means that they allow her to be divorced beforehand, like some states do allow. The divorce would not actually be fully final until after the birth of the child. But that all depends on what state you're in and whatnot. But the issue here with the NIPP or the NIPT is specifically that Gypsy Rose herself has a chromosome disorder. She has a microdeletion of a chromosome. And you can look into that. But there's other things that can cause issues with the NIPP and the NIPT testing. And that is why it is not largely used for an accurate result of who the paternity of that child is. So in order to have an accurate paternity test done while the baby is in utero, you have to basically do an amniocentesis, or what they call a CVS. A CVS is like an amniocentesis. They're still using a needle, except for they're not usually going from exterior. They're usually going through the vaginal canal, and they're not just trying to obtain isolated amniotic fluid to get only fetal cells and not have it contaminated, that sample, but they actually are trying to get essentially a small portion of a certain area of the placenta, and that's the area of the placenta where it's attached to the uterus. They can't just get the sample from anywhere. It has to be that little area. So of course they have to do that through the vaginal canal to do that testing. So either which way, an amniocentesis or a CVS is invasive, and it comes with risk, especially after being 15 weeks pregnant. Past that point, it comes with even more risks, because they suggest between 12 and 15 weeks pregnancy is when you should have this done. Of course, here is an educational diagram on that CVS and what that testing looks like, because they are still using the same exact type of needle that they do with amniocentesis. And there's even issues with this one as well, because sometimes they cannot get that certain part, so they still have to do an amniocentesis from the exterior. But yes, you are absolutely correct. There are non-invasive ways that they can do testing. It's just not something that she can wave around like Gypsy Rose Blanchard, and the narcissist that she is. She wouldn't be able to wave that around in everybody's faces and say, haha, see, look, because NIPP and NIPT testings can have up to a 70% failure rate, which means that they're not accurate. They're not accurate enough for the scientific, medical, or legal community to uphold it legally, medically, or scientifically. Of course, it can give you that closure of knowing, but if she already knows who her child's father is, and she knows that she was not sleeping with her legal husband, and she knows that time had lapsed, and she knows when her last period, I'm sure that Gypsy Rose knows exactly who she's pregnant by, because she's told you. But she's also been so obsessed with Ken Urker that it seems very strategic how she got pregnant anyway. So I'm assuming that if she, and that's my own opinion, and that's my assumption, that if she was going to have this very risky paternity test done and not just wait a couple months when her baby is due and wait till the risk is no longer there and just wait till the child is born, I'm assuming that she's doing it because she wants accuracy and because she plans on using those results legally admissible in court, which the NIPP and the NIPT testing is usually not, because it's not recognized. This is specifically for all you beautiful, amazing, wonderful human beings who still support Nicholas Godejohn and want to support Nicholas Godejohn. It is not too late to write letters of clemency. This is the address, and this is the extended deadline, February 1st, 2025. I highly suggest that you go over to NPG Cornerstone Nation on YouTube, which is Nicholas Godejohn's only official spokesperson and social media pages, and check out the third video down. Do you want to help Nick? This video right here explains to you what they are asking when you write letters of clemency. I highly suggest you go check it out and watch it. I myself, my family, my elderly mother, and my children have all wrote letters. But it is critical that if you do not know how to formulate the letter, watch this video, because it'll tell you exactly step-by-step instructions on what they are asking for. Also, if you have not heard of a creator called Toddy One Skip, I highly suggest you head over to her TikTok and her YouTube and give her a follow. Toddy has been nice enough to share with the world her legally private correspondence with Nicholas Godejohn. And this is critical because for anybody that was saying anything about NPGCN and not verifying who they are or the spot fund, this is where this comes in.
If you want to support NPG Cornerstone, I can tell you firsthand, I reached out to Nick through JPay and Securus, and he wrote me back and told me this. So yes, so I feel good and confident in telling this community, if you want to support Nick, he says do so through this. He's not asking for anything.
Now, I can completely sympathize and understand with why certain creators and people did not want to share or tell people to go and follow this page because it was not officially confirmed. But it wasn't that NPGCN wasn't confirmed. It was that the spot fund was not verified, that money is actually going to Nicholas Godejohn. So I completely understand why people were not sharing it on larger platforms and saying, hey, look, go donate to this. Because ultimately, when you co-sign your name to that, you're responsible for that. So the fact that Toddy got this legally private correspondence between her and Nicholas and was nice enough to actually share that, and he confirms that the spot fund is real, that's awesome that people now can put that to bed and put that to rest. That everybody should have listened to him the first time that he said that's his official spokesperson back in January 13th of 2024, but this has also happened a couple times since then where he has confirmed it. The only problem is he does not actually mention the spot fund, and so I can understand why people were having issues with there, but that's why I suggested a fair middle ground suggestion of donating directly to his commissary. And I'm not over here talking shit. I literally donate to his commissary. So I can actively participate in supporting him and his real life. His need for food, clothing, items, necessities. He can purchase those. And he is always gracious and kind, and he always replies back anytime I have donated to him. But I have also purchased 20 stamps for $5 and even given them to him so he can email people. So it essentially is one send, one email to or from is one stamp. So that is 10 emails that he can have to his father, his brother, his friends, his loved ones, whoever it may be. So that way he can communicate with his family and friends.
How do you kill your own mother? I mean, there's got to be a reason. There's got to be some abuse there. You don't just, I'm gonna kill my mother because I want to be with a boyfriend.
Really hard to say. I did make her have an orgasm once.
Okay.
And then after that, she wanted to blow me a little bit, and then after that, I think we stopped because we realized there was a lot of packing and stuff to do.
Okay. So you guys get everything packed, she wipes down the fingerprints, and then what do you guys do?
I am so not threatened by you. My man wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot pole. You're just mad because I have a Chad.
This is style. Let's just give him a minute.
I just need a minute, okay?
I kept asking questions. I'm not understanding what the deal is here. So.
Double standard my ass. And she's still better looking than you or Ken. I bet she nicer on the inside too. I said what I fucking said, bitch. Meanwhile, yeah, the happy couple.
So, yesterday when I came across this video, for the last, I want to say, couple weeks, Ryan has increasingly kind of gotten on my nerves. I mean, he was my husband. I can say that, okay? And we are still technically married. So I think it's completely normal for people to go back and forth with each other in little tit-for-tat ways. Okay, we are not, I'm not going to say we're on bad terms. We're not on good terms. We're just on terms. So,
you're married.
When I seen the video, I was not jealous. I am happy for him. If
the
he wants
fuck
to go
you're not.
Dance with a million girls. If he wants to go to a club, cool. I'm happy. I don't care. Like, I want him to find someone and I want him to be happy. But what I am disappointed in is society. So it was not even Ryan's video that kind of like made me frustrated. It was
how about your own actions? How about your own actions?
And favoritism towards men has been a thing for as like
no, blame everybody else instead of the fact that you should have shut the fuck up.
So I just don't see how when a man does something, then it's praised. But when a woman does something, she gets slandered and like slammed for it. So granted, questions was like, how do you feel now that you're getting all this attention? But you're a murderer. Oh my God. Like, she just flat out said it. It was a lady from the UK, and I'm kind of like, okay. And everybody in the room just like jumped up and was like ready to like, am I okay? Yeah. They were freaking out for me, and I'm like, no, guys, I got this. Like, it's something that I'm gonna have to address. Because it's always in my comments. Like, why are we glorifying a murderer and this and that and the other? And, I don't want to have to remind people every single time that I'm not the one that committed the act of the kill. So, I'm a part of it. Right. But in the state of Missouri, there's no such thing as accessory to murder. So technically, they couldn't charge me with accessory because that charge doesn't exist. So, I mean, had I been in another state, I would have been charged with accessory to commit murder. Oh, that makes sense. So, okay. Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you.
Of all the interviews that Gypsy Rose Blanchard has done, this one, I would say, infuriated me the most. And I'm sure it did a lot of other people too. But we're just going to talk about that again because I did this last year. I'm going to do it again. Missouri. First-degree premeditated murder is a person who commits the offense of murder in the first degree if they knowingly cause the death of another person after deliberation upon the matter. Now it's broken up into two parts. Under the age of 18 and above the age of 18. And Gypsy Rose Blanchard was only a month away from her 24th birthday. So what I would like to know is, hey, Gypsy, how does all that attention feel now? How does that infamy feel now? Accessory. There's two different types of accessory to commit murder, and that's usually before and after. In most jurisdictions, accessory to murder is a felony that can result in years in prison. Being an accessory is considered a separate offense from the crime itself. To be convicted of accessory to murder, the government must prove that the defendant intentionally and knowingly assisted the murder. The defendant's actions must be deliberate, not accidental or coerced. And that is different for different states and what type of law they may have as far as that. But accessory before the fact is when somebody helps someone else before they commit a murder. For example, they could be buying the gun, knowing that that person was going to use it on somebody else, and they did not stop it. They didn't warn anybody. They didn't call law enforcement. Accessory after the fact is when someone helps someone after they commit murder. An example could be driving a getaway car after the homicide. But there's also a different type of accessory charge that some states have, and that is if you're with somebody and you don't intentionally know that they plan on harming somebody, and they do, and you neglect to not only intervene but try to stop that person, but you also don't try to call 911 or try to elicit some kind of help for that person that they are harming to stop the crime from happening. If you sit there, and even if you didn't intentionally know that they were going to do it, and you sit there and you watch them do it anyway, you could have, by duty and obligation, try to prevent it, but you did not. So you could be charged with accessory in that kind of scenario too. But it all depends on the state and what laws they have and their legal standard for that. But if you look into what that means, the defendant had knowledge of the crime either beforehand or afterward, and the defendant intentionally acted to aid the perpetrator, also called the principal offender. In the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case, Gypsy Rose Blanchard is the principal offender under Missouri statute for first-degree premeditated homicide. She was over the age of 18 and she knowingly caused the death of another person. However, she also attempted murder twice before. On June 14th of 2011, and supposedly months prior to that, she attempted to take her mother's life 2 other times. And one of those is documented. When you solicit somebody else to commit the act for you, or hire somebody else to commit the act for you, you are still guilty of first-degree premeditated murder. And in Missouri, they have the death penalty for special heinous circumstantial crime. And jabbing somebody 17 times and partially decapping them, that is a heinous special circumstance that should have awarded her the death penalty. And in fact, she probably was facing the death penalty at first. The abuse excuse is what saved her life. But what I would really want to know is, you thought that you shouldn't have got as many years as you did? What did you believe under God and under the laws of man that you deserved? What do you think you deserve? That's what I want to know, because 10 years ain't nothing but a slap on the fucking wrist. But there is such thing as accessory, or AKA aiding and abetting a criminal in the state of Missouri. But that is not what Gypsy Rose Blanchard did. What she did was first-degree premeditated murder with the special circumstance of a heinous crime that should have landed her the death penalty. Gypsy Rose is the sole reason why Nicholas Godejohn was there, why he did what he did. Had she not been the person who solicited him and plotted this for years and manipulated him and coerced him, if anybody in this scenario was aiding and abetting,
murdered her mother,
and an accessory, it would be Nick himself to Gypsy, because she is the sole perpetrator of the crime. She's the person
look at you like, this is Gypsy Rose. She's famous.
Manipulated it.
For killing her mother.
She
shouldn't be
is
famous
the
for
most
something like
guilty
that.
party out of the two of them. But that also completely throws out the abuse excuse, because it's one thing for you to be defending yourself from an imminent and immediate threat on your body, your person, and your safety, and take another person's life because of abuse. It's a totally different thing when you bring a third party into it and manipulate them for years after you failed to attempt on that same person's life twice before and couldn't get the job done, and you manipulate a third party to do it for you. That completely throws the abuse narrative out, because you now brought a third party into it. You now ruined the life of a third party as well. And it can also be said that that person possibly really did love you so much that he sacrificed what he felt and thought and was manipulated to believe was the only way to save you, to get you freedom, to save your life from this horrendous abuse, that you couldn't pick up a phone, that you couldn't call your dad, that you couldn't call 911, you couldn't tell a neighbor. No, I mean, but you can have sex in the backyard in front of the neighbor's house, but you couldn't let them know that you're supposedly being abused. None of it makes sense, because it's all bullshit. It's just a criminal defense strategy. And it worked, because it got her a sweetheart plea deal that first-degree murderers don't usually get, especially in the state of Missouri, and she took it for second degree. But it's backwards, because they incentivize the more guilty party to lie and to run with that, instead of taking the person who was honest from the very beginning and incentivizing them for their honesty and their cooperation, like they normally do in soliciting or hiring type of scenarios when it comes to homicide, and giving that person the plea deal to get out in 10 years. Despite who committed that act, it has nothing to do with that. So if anybody was acting as an accessory or aiding and abetting to the principal offender, it was Nicholas Godejohn. Because he was helping her. And not only that, but he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison, knock on wood, hopefully not, because he loved somebody that much, that he sacrificed himself, his life, his future, his freedom for her. He doesn't get a fresh start. He doesn't get renewed freedom. He doesn't get to have a fair day in court. He doesn't have somebody advocating for him in that type of way, in that platform with millions of viewers and watchers, or somebody that's actually going to be there by his side while he serves that time. No, and he doesn't have the support and the resources to utilize the same way that Gypsy Rose Blanchard does. And it's highly unfair. It's not justice, and it's absolutely heinous and wrong. But this is the one thing that infuriates me the most, because she, as long as I'm alive, is never going to live that down. I will be here every single day to remind you all that not only is she a fraud, she's a horrible human being, she is a liar, and all of that BS story that she tells you is not true. She walked in that house for 9 years and didn't use that wheelchair except for when her and her mom were running a scam for other people outside of their own home. And she used Nicholas Godejohn.
It is Gypsy Rose went live with me.
Tell now. Did she battle you?
No, we just had a good conversation. People kept being like, she wants to collab, and I'm like, Jeffree Star Cosmetics is not collabing with a murderer. We're not doing it this year.
I need like a list of iconic things you say on today's episode. That's one. I want her on Canceled regardless, so bad. But why?
So here's my issue. I'm very sarcastic, and I battle, and I'm live all the time. I say really crazy, funny jokes. I should have been a comedian, right? So we go live together. We have a good time. I'm not gonna collab with her. She's like, I don't know if she's hinting at it, but like, and she's also learning TikTok. And imagine you're in prison for so long, and the phone is so new.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God!
It's like, it must be such a trip.
Imagine what that even feels like.
Yes. Yeah. So my issue is that she thought I was all great, and then a couple weeks later, someone sends her a clip of a joke I made. Unfollow. She can't handle the humor.
Boring. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was talking to her on FaceTime, and I was like, "Slay, mother," and I was like, "Wait."
Oh, Rose, that's so pretty.
Okay, someone needs to send her like a lion, a uni. Taylor just sent Gypsy the iconic diamond gun. There it is. Turn her up. Yes, Ollie. There it is.
Thank you. Aww. I looks good with this hat.
Oh my God. Eugenia! She just sent you one of the biggest gifts on the app. Oh my God, Eugenia.
So much.
That was so sweet. There we go. We have to show Gypsy what some big gifts are.
Oh, thank you. I'm a Leo, so I love lions.
Are you really?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. Hell yeah. That's amazing. I'm a Scorpio, but I love Leos.
Oh, God, I heard all about you Scorpios.
Oh, you heard about me? I know you heard about me.
I have a reputation.
We really do.
We really do.
Let me just send her a good one. So I can send you gifts while we're live, too. Oh, this is one of my favorites. The iconic. The yacht. Let's
baby.
go.
Blessed, baby.
Oh, that's awesome. So cool. Thank you.
This app is really fun.
I know. I'm gonna press the gift button. Okay, so I'm gonna send you a gift. How do I do that? Okay. I just pick one.
So you will have to you'll have to have some form of payment connected to the app.
Okay.
Whether it's a debit card or PayPal. So all these gifts are money that are sent to you or me, and you can cash out later. Once a week, you can cash out with your PayPal. And then to send gifts, it's called recharging. You guys, isn't this so cool to teach someone new? Because I knew nothing about this 10 months ago either. Oh,
this is great.
Okay, so Gypsy, some of the gifts are really expensive. So that lion someone just sent you is like $400.
What?
Yes, Eugenia sent you a lion.
Oh my goodness, thank you. Good.
Yeah, so isn't that wild?
That is so wild. The only one that's highlighted in my area is the rose, and I know that's cheap. I'm so sorry it's cheap, but it's the only one that's cheap.
It is a rose is a penny. It is a penny. No, it's true though. It is the lowest gift, y'all. We all know a rose is cheap. Don't even try to play her like that. And then here, let me send you a little. This is like a money gun. That's like $50.
Okay.
Not $50, $5. Not 50. It's like $5.
Yeah, make it rain.
Isn't it fun? And there's so many. Oh, you got the diva hat. Let's go, Guy Combs.
The only person making it rain is Brian on that girl's booty. Throw that ass in the circle. Throw that ass in the circle.
That's so sweet.
So later, if you have anything connected, you can recharge. It's like you have to do it later, or have your sister teach you.
Yeah, my sister is like, that's cool.
Oh, Frankie!
These are freaking cool.
That was awesome. I know this app has really wild
cool,
gifts. The
man.
animations are just.
Everybody wants it, man. Everybody needs to live, man.
Thank you so much.
It's so fun learning because there's a lot to it, and it took me a minute to get the hang of it.
Yeah. And they're just so fun to watch, too.
They are.
Oh, yeah. It's so fun to watch that money gift come in.
I get enamored with it.
I know.
Oh, Jeffrey, we know you're enamored.
If you guys are new to TikTok or watching Gypsy, you guys see how it says 1.1 above or below my name? Those are how many people have tapped, or how many times our screen's been tapped. So when people double tap the screen, you guys, it does share out the live. TikTok pushes it to the top. And I have the most likes or taps on anyone's live ever. We broke all the records for that. That was only like 2 weeks ago, too, which is wild. Thank you. Yes, y'all, the iconic Gypsy Rose is in the building. Everyone send her a gift. Say hi. Yes. Look at all the diva hats.
Wait, Jeffrey, I got a surprise for you.
Oh, yeah. Gotta bring Laura.
I'll bring our mom.
Oh my gosh! Who is that sweet baby?
Not your sweet baby.
Grace.
Aurora! That is such a pretty name. Gypsy, I have 7 Pomeranians. I don't know if you saw that already. 7.
I know that you have a couple. I was like, oh my goodness. I can barely handle one.
Yes.
She's old. She's about 8 or 9.
Yeah, my oldest is 9. Yes, thank you. Everyone sending Gypsy gifts, thank you. Tell your sister you're the gift queen now. Look how many gifts she's got, over 100K.
I gotta get on here.
My friend really does make a living. She battles and goes live every day on here. I mean, 7 days a week. People, not everyone can do that.
Yeah, like she needs it. When her daddy literally is a financial advisor
makes 6 figures every month
one of the
on here.
biggest.
It's wild.
I'll go live and I'll do like a little get ready with me, and then I get like 200 viewers, and I get like maybe 5 roses. And I'm like, you know what? I just like having conversations with people. And I'm just like, I like to feel like I'm on FaceTime with people.
Mia, how is that going now, Mia?
Right, I feel like we're on FaceTime right now. I love that.
How is that now, Mia?
That's so
How
cool.
is that now?
Oh, they have a Pomeranian.
I'm lucky if I get 5.
What are the odds? Poms are my favorite. I do have 7, which is a lot, but we got a big old ranch in the middle of nowhere. I live in Wyoming now.
Okay. I think that state is talked about enough, honestly.
It's not. It's the 9th biggest as far as land, but it's the least populated. Isn't that wild?
That could be because of the mountains running through.
I'm out in the middle of nowhere, peace and quiet. I like to work and travel and have a wild life, and then come back and be grounded and just be away from everyone.
I feel ya. I do.
That's because
kind
the
of have
taxes.
cutoff
That's because the no taxes. That's why people like to go to Wyoming.
It's peaceful. Everybody is pretty much almost related. Like everybody's cousins with someone. This is actually where, not cutoff, but a little town not far from here, Golden
All right,
Meadow,
Gypsy,
is
you're
where
boring. We
I
don't want to hear
was
your
born
life
and grew
history.
up.
Gypsy, we love you. Don't kill the next one. All right. Hi there. Yeah. All right, Gypsy. We'll see you on the next documentary.
Being, Gypsy Blanchard, the girl that murdered her mother.
I don't want people to look at you like, this is Gypsy Rose. She's famous for killing her mother. You shouldn't be famous for something like that.
Exactly.
Yep. Since she had warned me that she's tried it twice before, and she's only mentioned one of those times in the media. The other, apparently she almost got close to killing her mother, but however, she couldn't do it. She was attempting to do it mainly for someone that she had an infatuation with, and, well, she found out later that it was just infatuation, but yet the person keeps using her to this day, so, yeah, it's very sad.
It does hurt my feelings a little bit whenever people do call me a danger, because I want to make clear, I was a part of the crime, but I didn't commit the act. And I think that is what people need to really remember. He's the one that did the actual kill, not me. I can't kill anyone. That's why he's in trouble to begin with, because he's the one that did it. So when they say I'm a murderer, I don't identify